Discovery.
Hello and welcome to Cutting Through the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben, and as always I'm joined by Gaz.
Hello.
And Mike.
Hello.
We're continuing V for Vendetta today, part 2. We'll finish it off, what goes on in the film, and then go through some Alan Moore stuff that he said, and then finish on some fucked up facts. But first we do our weird news, what we've managed to find across the internet this week. And
What lunacy we found.
what lunacy has been found. And this can take this is your first episode, I should say, and it may take 35, 40 minutes, depends how quick we need a piss, really.
Could take an hour, as like last episode, but we promise you it's all good fun. And if you really want to, you could just spin on to the V for Vendetta bit.
Yeah.
But give us a go.
This is free content, damn it.
It's fucking free.
Everything's free. What do you mean?
Well, it's free for you, like it's not free for us. Podcasting costs money.
That's it.
Yeah, I have to buy beer and stuff.
Yeah. I have to pay to host the bastard. But anyway.
Go on to the weird news.
Yeah, let's do that. Weird news. I apologise if I zone out a bit today. I haven't had a joint all day, so this is going to be my first marijuana cigarette. So you might lose me for the first 40 minutes. I promise I'll try and join in.
Okay, first bit of news. Prison riot erupted when inmates fought over whether to watch darts or football on TV.
Well, I'm in the football camp.
Fucking hell. The fact that they've got the choice of fucking spoiled bastards.
Lags. I don't know what that means. It must be
It's slang
It's
for
slang, is it?
inmates, yeah.
lags at HMP shops in Lanarkshire attacked guards with pool cues.
Who's giving
over-
prisoners pool cues?
Over a row on whether to watch darts hero Gary Anderson in action or the St Mirren Dundee United game.
Oh, fuck me. I know you said you're in the football.
Now
camp.
you've said it's St
Yeah.
Mirren and Dundee, I'm going
Yeah,
with the
I
dark
was gonna say,
side.
Now we know which football match. I'm definitely dark.
6
Wow.
guards are attacked with pool cues and other makeshift weapons. It's a maximum security jail, why are you giving them hitty things?
Maximum security.
Shouldn't the pool cues be made of rubber?
Is it maximum security?
That's what it says there.
Oh yeah.
Maximum security. I mean, I'm guessing that means it's very hard to get things in and out, but if there's already things inside, such as pool cues,
Yeah.
why don't you give them... I mean, I'm not a security expert, but why not give them plastic pool cues that can't be broken off in sharp ways and
Yeah.
used as shivs?
Yeah, exactly. Why couldn't they have just wheeled another telly in?
Well...
They're probably
It's-
not short of the odd TV, are
This all
they?
comes down to funding, Ben. They can't afford 2 TVs, so
Well,
they've
some
got
of
to
them-
have a riot if they want to change the channel.
But some of them have got like £1 million worth of cocaine in their cell. I mean, surely he could have just sold some coke and someone had to get a telly.
Well, sports fans attacked 6 guards during the fight. Wow.
That's not what you want on your fucking day in work, though, is it?
No, I think we touched on this last episode, possibly. Your average, prison service, they're not on much more than minimum wage. Do you know what I mean? They're not highly trained.
Not one in the private prisons. They're probably not. The government ones used to be on a decent money, if I remember rightly. Certainly in the 20s, 2030. But
Since austerity.
whether they've had a pay rise since, as I didn't know someone was a prison guard, and they were on sort of in the 20,000 mark, which was a lot of money at the time. I dare say there hasn't rise for a long time.
No,
So
they've cut the numbers and cut the wages.
£20,000 is the average salary.
well, it was over 20, but that was like 5,
But still,
6 years
think
ago.
about it though. 20. I know people who can, through overtime and things. I know machine operators in factories that are pulling in not much less than that. So to be in a life or death situation,
Yeah.
locked in,
Well, that's it. They're gonna let you out, are they?
yeah, locked in with these people. I personally think they should be on more than police officers. Maybe they'd be inspired to do a bit better job. Maybe if you arm them, maybe if you gave them more than a bit of pepper spray and a whistle,
And
I'm
a
just
stick.
guessing, but that's probably what they've
They
got.
probably have a stick.
And a notebook.
Oh, I don't think they get a notebook.
Well,
Not policeman, Gaz.
as they're being shanked. I'm recording your prisoner number, and then another shank, and the time this happened.
Oh, my kidney!
And I will be reporting this to the appropriate authorities.
I'll get your parole here and take it off you, Sonny Jim.
Oh, please come back with my spleen. I need that. Fucking selling it, mate. Yeah.
Well, we could do what the Dutch do.
What's that?
Rehabilitate them,
Get them high.
educate them, get them high.
Well, they're already high. They've got all
And
that.
the prisons are empty. They've had to import the Norwegians.
I understand it in theory, but let's be realistic about this country. So you train a few thousand, you re-educate and retrain
Low
a few
level.
thousand lags. You know,
Right, yeah.
you give them sort of bricklaying abilities or
Plumbing.
skills, plumbing. They then leave the prison. Where's the fucking
Yeah.
jobs?
Nah,
What
that's
do
what
they
have.
do then?
They guarantee them jobs.
We can't guarantee non-prisoners jobs.
Well, the government can.
Mm.
The government can guarantee anybody jobs.
Well, they
I mean,
could
up until
employ
the
them.
70s,
Yeah.
our political landscape was full employment. Unemployment was 0.5% in the 70s.
Well, they had all them riots in the 70s.
Well, that was because of inflation.
And the
There was a
bins
problem
didn't
with
get
The
inflation.
bins didn't get emptied, yeah.
Because all the jobs, because there was so many jobs, inflation went up.
Yeah, so it was a.
They couldn't control it, and that's when Maggie Thatcher got in. You see, bit of a crisis.
I'll put a Tory in.
Yeah, and then she came in.
Well, back to the story. My point would be, I guess, that's a shit day at work.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're on 20 grand or 18 grand.
Yeah.
You know, an argument that you can't really. There's nothing you can really do as the security guard about this argument, guys. You're gonna have to sort this.
Yeah.
You know, out. You have to make a decision.
I just said, well, let's get another telly. That would have been my solution to it.
Or if this was an American style, if you know, you'd fire your pistol at the fucking ceiling of the prison, you'd be like, no one gets the fucking TV today because you've rioted. Back to your cells, kneecap a couple.
As an example.
As an example.
The
Yes.
ringleaders, maybe.
Possibly execute one of them.
If you can get away with it.
Yeah. You know, and just come down with some brutal iron fist justice. In an ideal world.
Wouldn't that turn into V for Vendetta? Where does it stop?
Yeah, you end up with just a Larkhill detention centre at that point.
And it's not just the prisoners you're
It's their fault.
executing.
It's their
It's
fault.
the
I would
civilians.
tie up the ringleader and throw darts at his testicles, and then allow other prisoners to take penalty kicks with an overinflated football at his testicles.
One of those old leather ones with the 20s.
Yeah, the ones that used to give you
Really
concussion
rough
every time
one.
you headed it.
Oh, the worst was, never mind the heavy ones, when you play as a kid and someone had a ball where all the leather had scuffed off.
Yeah.
You know, a hexagon with the hexagons on it, or the leather had, or fake leather had scuffed off, and it was just the roughest surface on earth, rougher than any kind of sandpaper.
Yeah.
You didn't want that ball glancing your cheek or something.
Oh, fuck
Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like, you go to head
And
it
it
and
was
it gets
heavy
you
as
in the
fuck
eye
because the
instead.
water
Yeah,
got in
it's
Yeah.
retaining like half a stone of water. They were the worst footballers.
Yeah, and I used to play in goal, so imagine catching that in the face.
No.
Oh man. Well, this sucks. There's a lot to unpack in this story because it sort of shows. I know there would be some probably more conservative people would say, "Well, why have they got a bloody TV to argue over in the first place?"
on probably whatever
Um,
service they're watching it on, probably Sky.
Yeah.
You don't get Scottish Premiership games on normal telly. Even if
I
it's a
don't
shit
know.
league.
Well, Scotland's different, isn't it?
True.
You might.
It might have been on the BBC because darts is on Sky and
No,
normal telly,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know them. But either way, they've got Sky. Let's just say, for argument's sake, they've got Sky.
Yeah.
You'd be there going, do you really want to watch St Mirren versus Dundee? Is that the game you want?
But a lot of
Oh.
people can't conceive of watching darts, can they? I don't mind watching a bit of darts
suppose-
because my parents always did.
I've
but-
watched it in the past. I don't mind it.
I'll watch it if I'm drinking.
Nah.
They're not drinking. Unless they've got some prison moonshine or some toilet wine on the go.
Well,
Mind you, they've got a lot of coke.
yeah. That's probably why they were so hyped up and rioting.
Yeah.
What does it say? A Scottish Prison Service spokeswoman said, "We are able to confirm that an incident happened on December 29th. Well, thank you. Wow, what a quote.
Yeah.
She added, no guards needed hospital treatment for any serious injuries.
Oh,
okay.
well, there
So
we
there's
go.
no shanking.
It's a
and-
bit of a Bit of a
Bargy
friendly
bar-
riot, innit? They're all
Bargy
mates after.
bargy.
They're all mates after. They all shook hands.
Handbags at 10 paces. I don't mean that if any prisoners are listening. I know you're hard.
Not necessarily.
Well, they're Scottish and they're in a Scottish prison. They're harder than me, Ben.
That's true.
And you.
And all of us put together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I reckon 3 of us could take down a Scottish prisoner.
No.
We've got pool cues.
No.
Oh man. I've got a fucking poet and a pacifist on my side here, so it ain't going so well, is it?
Not really.
No. What are you gonna do when we go to Russia?
Well,
Conscientious objector, my friend.
try a bit of womanising, to be honest. Yeah. You can go and fight as many Russians as you want. I will be... I'm going to stop that before I continue.
Right, Moving on.
No human fouling. Why one town has been forced to put up ridiculous signs on its bus stop.
Is this Telford?
Gloucestershire. Council buses had to put the signs after finding human excrement in bus stops in Gloucestershire.
Well, people get desperate, Buses, obviously. Oh man, the sign's fantastic. By the way, if you can go and find this, it's just a squatting man literally in the process of having a shit.
Well,
You can see the shit falling from his backside as he squats, and there's like a little sort of circle with a line through it. No human fouling. Fantastic.
I think there's a darker underbelly to this story.
The bus service is crap.
If this happened once or twice, I think maybe a drunk person on the way home. If it's happening to the point where it requires a sign, I'm going to guess there's some people who have nowhere else to shit, i.e. homeless people.
Or some kind of sexual deviant, and he just gets him off shitting in bus stops.
How many
Or
times could he do it?
Disgruntled
Disgruntled
customer.
customer. But to do it enough times to warrant a sign, I'm guessing this is like... I mean, how many times warrants a sign? Does it say?
Well, I don't know. I mean, plenty of dog shit about. There's loads of signs up for that.
There's a lot of dogs doing a lot of shits, do you know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen... Now, this might sound like a strange sentence to come out with, but I've seen quite a few human shits.
Onto a glass table as you lay underneath it.
No,
I didn't have shies of films. I'll come back to haunt you guys.
He was young. Needed the money.
Impressionable.
I'm an open-minded guy. No, I'm a professional driver. I go to a lot of lay-bys. I usually piss in them. Some people choose to eat their sandwiches in them. Unlucky. And you know when you see a human poo. You know it's not a dog poo. It's quite alarming.
Oh man, trucker poo. Oh, I bet that's not solid.
One good thing I can say about the truckers, though, is that when you do notice the human poo, you will usually also notice a large pile of paper where they've cleaned up.
They've cleaned themselves up.
Yeah, they didn't clean the lay-by. But my point is, you know it's not a fucking dog shit. You know the fucking difference. There's something instinctual. Like, that came from a man. So, finding them...
That came from... Now I'm getting taser. 40-year-old man.
Oh, last meal was peanuts.
It's a bit nutty. I bet if you did taste them, though, you'd be able to tell a Polish trucker from an English trucker. And that's a racial thing against us, because the Polish man is probably having a decent, well-balanced diet and a lot of protein, for his workouts, whereas the English trucker survives off
Fried egg and murdering prostitutes.
sandwiches. Hey, that's a Clarkson joke. And he can keep
Energy
it.
drinks.
I had a phone call from our compactor room at work a few weeks ago, and they said there was a strange smell coming from the cardboard compactor.
Can you come and clean your mess up, then? You
So I went down there, and the ram was forward. That looks like shit on the front of that ram. And it was some trucker who took a shit in a bag and thrown it in one of the cardboard bins, and they loaded it in, and there was all shit everywhere inside it.
He tried to get rid of it.
He should have put it in the appropriate bin.
Well,
It wasn't a human waste bin, but the general waste bin would have been a good start.
Look, I'm not judging. I've never been caught short in that way yet. If there's potential for it. But my dad's a trucker, and he gave me an amazing piece of advice, because I asked him about this. So I was like, sometimes it's a horrible feeling being on the road and needing to turd immediately.
Yeah, I
and I was
bet, yeah.
talking about public toilets. My dad was like, There's literally thousands of public toilets everywhere, and I was like, there ain't. And he's like, there is. They've got big yellow M's on the top of them. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I don't eat McDonald's. You know I don't, but I fucking shit in McDonald's. I was like, how'd you do it? You just walk in. You just go in. Don't make eye contact. Walk in like it's every right of yours in the world to go and use those toilets, and nobody will bother you. I was like, eh. And since then, yeah, big supermarkets are my favourite because they tend to be a lot cleaner. They've got full-time.
Although the McDonald's ones aren't bad.
They're not bad.
All
But
right.
Tesco's, a big Tesco's, you're guaranteed to find a nice, clean toilet store, and that, listener, is a pro tip. If you're on the road and you need to shit, just find yourself a Tesco's or a McDonald's.
Unless Ben has been there after 5 days at Reading.
That's true.
Wow.
Well, I didn't shit for 5 days because the Portaloos were so bad. So I went to McDonald's and when we got back and literally just dropped my load in there. It's like giving birth to a walking stick.
Fair play.
Did you back up the toilet as well?
No. That's an urban legend.
I told this story on here before, but I'm not bothered by that sort of thing. I did 5 years at the festival, so I became immune. I once went into a cubicle where I have to try and remember it right. If I remember it, the toilet was already blocked, so somebody had then been sick, and you could clearly see it was quite solid sick on top of the blockage. It was coming up above the level of the seat. Somebody else was then that desperate that they had shit on top of the puke mountain, which was on top of the blockage. Still not the worst thing I saw at Glastonbury. At Glastonbury I also saw a syringe floating in a toilet. That's the worst thing I've seen so far. That put me off more than any shit. I was like, somebody did a medical, I'm trying to think of the word, procedure. Because that's what giving yourself an injection is. I don't care if it's heroin or insulin. You're fucking using needles and finding veins and that. In here?
In the most unsanitary place known to man, a festival toilet.
Ew. And it changed my view of Glastonbury, because you like to think of Glastonbury as all hippie and acid and LSD. Like, there's still junkies using needles.
Yeah.
Fuck them. But yeah, that's enough
Could have been
shit
insulin.
talk, isn't it? Could have been.
Maybe.
But I doubt it.
I'd have rather done that in a field or at the first aid tent.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have had to hide that. If it was insulin, you just do it out in the open.
Just in case I did do it in the open and someone said, oh my god, what are you injecting? I just got the first aid tent and say, do you mind if I do my insulin here or something like that? And
you'd know it was insulin because they wouldn't have a belt wrapped around their
That's
top
it.
torso.
And they'd also have
in
teeth.
their teeth, their gums.
Yeah.
While their friend frantically slapped their forearm looking for a vein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is that bit of a giveaway.
Okay,
That's why I always upgrade to the VIP area nowadays, because it's just a better quality of toilet. I don't care. £114 for 4 days of better toilets. I'll take it. It's well worth it. Don't care. Well worth it.
And I subscribe to the fact that, if you hide yourself, I'm not saying you should eat shit and smother it on your gums, but being exposed to bacteria helps you combat bacteria.
It
and
does.
gives you a strong, healthy immune system. Those 5 years I spent at festivals, I think have given me a pretty good resistance to that sort of thing, which is why I'm able to eat so much shit, as we discussed earlier, in laybys left by truckers. Thanks, truckers.
There'll be no man.
I would just like to say, for the record, I do not sniff, eat, taste, lick, touch in any way
Masturbate
anybody
over.
else's shit. No. Sometimes rub it on my nutsack, but that is it. It's very healthy. Moving on. Sorry, did they explain in the story, do they have a theory as to why?
They thought it was homeless people.
Oh, there you go.
Or people caught short.
Bloody hell.
So you see some elderly bloke just caught short all the time. You know.
But apparently it's finished now, the spate of shitting.
Well, that sign's obviously working, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Never underestimate the power of a sign in Britain.
No. Or anywhere really, I suppose. A very quick factoid on signs. I'm sure I've said this before probably, but I love this fact. You know, in city centres all over the world, subway stations, things, there'll be some sort of sign that says, beware, pickpockets operate in these areas.
Yeah.
Do you know what? 9 out of 10, I don't know the statistic, but your average person's natural psychological reaction to seeing that sign is to pat their wallet or something.
Yeah.
Just because you've read pickpockets operate, you
do,
pat
don't
the
you?
thing. So guess what? Pickpockets operate near those fucking signs. They literally stand by those signs, watch everyone looking at it and giving themselves a reassuring pat, and then you know, you're literally telling them where your wallet is, which pocket's in. So like,
Oh fuck.
yeah. So try and remember when you see those signs, just mentally think, my wallet is still there. Don't like pat it because it'll be gone.
Yeah, the problem with that is like a physical thing adding to a mental reassurance, isn't it? So you do it by instinct because it makes you feel better.
Definitely, and then you lose your wallet.
And then you
Man,
lose your
I
wallet
would
for
hate
real.
being picked, but that would got to be one of the worst things that can happen to you.
Well, I think murder would.
Well,
probably
you know what I mean.
I wouldn't fancy being
Everything's
gang
relative.
raped in all
I'm
fairness.
sure somebody's slowly peeling you head to fucking toe with a razor blade, rolling you in salt, and then raping your mum in front of you would be worse. But you know what I fucking meant. It's a turn of fucking phrase, you cunts.
Still ought to be pickpocketed.
Shut up or I'll shit in your bus stuff.
Should we
You
move
don't
on?
know which one it is.
The cleaning of the corpse ceremony sees remote tribes take pictures with long dead relatives.
Oh yes, I'm aware of
Have they put a pair of sunglasses on that corpse?
Looks like Kim Jong-un.
It does, doesn't it?
it. But you're supposed to dress them up in their best clubber as well, aren't you, and that sort of thing. Where's this No. Where is it?
Indonesia.
That's it.
In Tojar, in the South Sulawesi region of Indonesia. Maybe. It's in Indonesia. The Tarajan people dig up their dead relatives every 3 years, groom them and dress them in fashionable new clothes. Are they just putting sunglasses on a dead body? It's like Weekend at fucking Bernie's.
Yeah, it is.
But look, he's got his... scroll up just a sec, mate. Look, they've got his favourite glasses,
His mobile
Nokia
phone.
phone, his driving licence. You know, he's off out, man. He's on a night out. He's pretty dolled up as well.
He's still got hair.
He's got a necktie under his shirt.
It's got a huge underbite.
I'm impressed with how much hair he's still got.
Yeah.
There's a lot of living people who
Do you think they've combed his hair?
comb the
Well, they've-
bacteria and rotten flesh out
They
of it.
they've dressed him up because they've combed his hair.
They could have put a clean shirt on the fucking dead.
Wow.
Maybe that seeped through after.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably, yeah.
yeah. Oh.
I mean, they're not. They're not going to be the most sturdy of.
What's the
things,
point
are
of
they?
this ritual, Mike?
Let's have a look.
They're all closet necrophiliacs.
It didn't mention fucking the relatives, man. You added that bit.
Dead relatives. And hence the necrophiliac. That'd just be incest otherwise. In a series of incredible pictures of tribespeople take pictures with their dead bodies of their relatives, many who died years earlier, wearing sunglasses next to mobile phones and even smoking cigarettes. You'd be pissed off if you died of lung cancer and your relatives kept giving you cigarettes after you're dead, wouldn't you?
It's taking the piss.
It is. It's like, what are you doing?
The Marneen Festival, which translates as cleaning of the corpse ceremony, has been carried out for centuries by the Tarajan, who believe that spirits will reward them for taking care of the dead.
Great.
The creepy tradition dates back to when an animal hunter named Pong Rumasek found a corpse abandoned in the mountains under a tree.
Hang on, let's look at that dead body a second. Was he wearing an SS uniform? This looks like some...
It's military-esque,
Yeah.
isn't it? Oh, yeah, I didn't see the hat. Yeah, it's definitely military.
Yeah, it looks like a
Yeah.
US Air Force kind of thing going on.
Did this country have an air force? They must have.
Indonesia.
He must have
I
been a
imagine.
soldier.
He's
Hey,
definitely
look,
wearing a flying jacket and
There's a
sunglasses.
photo. Well, there's a photo of him back in when he was alive.
Yeah.
To the left of
Let's see
him.
if there's a caption to that, because that could be someone who isn't Indonesian, especially.
He's Claudio. Oh no, that's the copyright owner of the images. Or is that his name? Claudio Cyber, then / Barcroft Images. So
No,
his
he's
name-
the dude who took it and who for, I think.
Yeah.
Pong Rumasek.
Pong Rumasek dressed the body in his own clothes and gave him a proper burial, and then was apparently blessed with good fortune.
Well, like finding some more clothes. Because he's just strutting around nude at that point, isn't he?
Wow.
Good point.
Well, I'm just glad I don't live there.
Well, funeral ceremonies are extremely important to the Tarajan and are often held weeks, months, or even years after a loved one's death to give the relatives enough time to raise the money. Funeral costs are high. If you can wait a few years, save up for it.
Yeah, especially you've got to, you know, take them out and then bury them again.
Mm-hmm.
Buy them a new outfit every year for a start.
I bet this is a very smelly festival.
Yeah.
And also quite, I mean, I know everyone deals with things differently, but I'd find it quite traumatising to me, looking on the remains of my loved one. I mean, that guy looked like he was cleaning his wife.
Is that a dead baby?
That is a dead baby, and she's holding
That
it.
is creepy to fuck.
The photograph we're looking at, guys, please Google the name of this festival. There's a bunch of living people, all smiling, happy, looking completely normal and happy, like it's the most normal thing in the world, to be stood next to a decomposing...
Two decomposing
corpses, dressed in clothes, posed, hands across their front like they're just... Basically, they've got Nan and Grandad's decomposing bodies in the picture, and one of them is holding a decomposed baby, and she is smiling, she's quite pretty. Is that her dead baby? How could... Jesus Christ.
That's
Every 3 years you dig up your dead baby. I mean, losing a child is... I don't know, it hasn't happened to me. It's supposed to be one of the most traumatic things anybody can go through.
Yeah.
But there she is, beaming. She's the happiest one in the picture. Maybe
Definitely.
she feels closer to them. Maybe they don't feel like they're really gone if they're taking
Maybe
care
that's
of
it.
everybody. But
I don't know, I mean, it's what they're brought up with, isn't it? And if you immerse them in that from when they're very young, I mean, it's just normal, isn't it?
yeah,
But it does, it's a creepy one. I mean, they're lighting fags for him and putting sunglasses on him and leaving him
he loved a cigarette, Ben.
He loved a cigarette.
Loved a cigarette.
Even that's what they killed him, but he loved him.
Yeah. Oh man, I've always found that fun. You know, like at a wake, you know, a dear old friend passes away and you go to the wake and everyone's having a good old drink.
Yeah.
For dear old Bob, and you're like, what did Bob die of in the end? Oh, liver sclerosis, you know.
Yeah.
Complications from alcoholism. Oh, bless him. Down the hatch.
Yeah.
You know, if I die from a fucking heroin overdose, you're not all going to sit round passing out fresh needles.
Free heroin.
Passing out free needles singing Golden Brown. Like, he loved that fucking song.
His
Like a
favourite.
Mexican wave as people just slump.
It was his favourite smacking up song. Loved a bit of skag.
Oh man, the hypocrisy of how we treat alcohol though. I might have had this rant before, but it's so...
Yeah.
You're on the piss, you cannot speak anymore, you can't walk, you're a fucking mess, and you want to go home. You state the fact that you want to go home, and your, quote, friends will all be like, no, just stay, you'll be alright, one more, just stay, we're all staying, come on, just have another one. If I was just on the verge of the OD, of the smack, you wouldn't all be like, ping, getting the needles ready.
Yeah.
You'd be like, no, come on lad, you'll be alright.
Have a little one.
Have another one. I'll make sure you get home. But alcohol, we're like, fuck it. But the same thing, you could still die from it, but our attitude to it, we're just like, it's alright.
Yeah.
They sell it in the shops, it must be safe. Especially in the
Cannabis
UK.
is relatively harmless.
Oh no.
Well, relatively harmless physically.
Don't you touch that cannabis.
You know.
That'll fuck you right up, mate.
Yeah. Schizophrenia, that was.
I once had a fist fight with a lamppost because of alcohol.
Did the lamppost win?
Oh, it kicked the fuck out of me. Yeah, it definitely won in the first round as well. But my point is...
You can't die from cannabis, that's my point.
Cannabis is amazing. It's
What did Bob Marley die of?
Yeah,
Lung cancer.
from the tobacco.
No, he died because he refused a blood transfusion because of his Rastafari
He's saying how you
beliefs.
get the lung cancer though.
Oh,
That's tobacco.
he
Well,
smoked
tobacco,
cigarettes as
smoking
well.
weed,
Cannabis,
yeah.
I didn't think cannabis caused lung cancer.
Well, it does if you smoke it with tobacco.
With tobacco, you don't have to smoke it with tobacco.
I'm pretty sure in Jamaica they don't smoke spliffs. Spliffs is tobacco and weed together, and that's a very European thing. The Americans definitely don't do it.
They just go pure green then.
Yeah, there's many different reasons. Economical, priced. There's an abundance of it, even before it was legal. But anyway, I lived with an American in my first year of uni. Shout out to Chris Abbott. I don't know if you listen. He might, 'cause we're friends on Facebook. Anyway, first time he saw someone make a spliff, and he saw me put in the he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, spliff, and he's really confused by it, and he's like, this like putting water in your beer? Or like, why would you do that? And I was trying to explain, like, well, this shit's expensive.
Yeah, makes it go
It's just
further.
the way I was taught to do it. And he's like, but you're addicted to cigarettes at the same time. I'm like, yeah, I guess, I don't know. And then everyone I know in Italy and Poland smoke spliffs like we do. So it's a very European thing, the spliff. They smoke blunts, which is apparently no tobacco. That's a blunt. Doesn't have to be a brown leaf wrap thing. It's just pure. And the way we skin up in this quite refined, nice kind of way. An American would just get, and their Rizlas are wider that way in width and shorter in length.
Gotcha.
And they just dump it in the middle, fold it over in a really haphazard way, no roach, and it's just like a little tampon. It's so messy, and they're like, and
fuck that.
that's how they smoke, man.
Savages.
Yeah, but there's no tobacco in it. And do you know, they used to do this thing called the Smoke Pure campaign, which said that one of the things they use against the legalisation argument in the UK is the fact that it's smoked with tobacco. And obviously tobacco is not good.
No.
That's apparently one of the things they use against the legalise argument. So yeah, Smoke Pure, but if I could afford to...
Yeah,
God,
lower
I'd
the
love
prices.
to.
Lower the prices, damn
Yeah,
it.
Jesus, it's just not economically viable in this country unless you'd have to be loaded to smoke fucking pure. You'd have to be loaded or growing your own.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how the fuck we got there, lads. What were we on about?
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, the fucking Corpse Festival.
More corpse festivals. That's what I'm going for.
No, I think this is horrific and it should be banned. And I'd like to know if the hygienic issue, is there a...
There's got to be.
Obviously. They do say that most of them wear
Surgical masks.
surgical masks when they're preparing them.
I should hope so.
But,
You go and wash your hands after all, wouldn't you?
Yeah, this is the same place. It says underneath that they sacrifice live chickens to appease their volcano god.
Well, that is sensible.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And they used to sacrifice children.
Sensible?
Wow. Well, I think we could go there and be worshipped as some sort of kings.
Oh, like that Man Who Would Be King, the film.
Well, can't we go there with our new fancied ideas, you know, and our like magic tricks? Or would we end
We
up
could be
like
seen as devils
over a
and
fire? Yeah, we'd
sent
end
to
up
the
over
volcano.
would we end up over a cauldron?
Chucked into the volcano alive.
Yeah.
This will appease the gods. He's the size of 12 chickens. And his meat is white like the chicken. Yay! We came to help and to rule you.
Oh man, one day I'll get that thrown in schools. One day.
Yeah, but they'll be wearing shades and smoking
Yeah,
cigarettes.
exactly. How cool would that be if all the schools on the throne had cigarettes in their mouths and always pairs of sunglasses on?
Look at Guns N' Roses album.
Exactly, it'd be fucking great.
Welcome to the jungle.
Well, we are in Indonesia, a lot of jungle.
Well,
Well, there was.
Nice to be a
They
bit.
chopped it down to make palm oil.
Well, alright, Mr. Bring Down. We'll replant it when we're in charge. Won't be a problem.
yeah, we're probably still going to let people cut it down for money, aren't we? Let's be honest.
Oh, just going back.
Yeah. I'll be a king, I won't give a fuck.
Oh, great. You just turned into an autocrat immediately. It's my divine right to rule! Shoot him!
Take him away.
Yeah, well, you fucking Ming the fucking Merciless all of a sudden.
Yep. Throw him into the volcano!
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a kick when it's on a Sunday afternoon, throw people into a volcano.
It certainly would. But, what do you think of this? Is this nice and cute, or is this fucking
Yeah,
horrific?
it's whatever they want to do, it ain't affecting me.
I'm the same. I mean, if you want, it's stupid, isn't it? I mean, it's
It's stupid compared to us. I mean,
Yeah.
they might think our rituals are daft.
well, there we go, exactly. But then, you know, I suppose
It's a bit weird.
not hurting anybody. I suppose.
No, unless you catch some horrible disease off your decaying granddad. I mean, what if there's I tell you, what if there's like a cholera epidemic, and they bury them all, and then they're digging them up every
Yeah,
year?
that's not good.
No, that's not good, is it? Because cholera stays in the ground for years.
Yeah.
They had to evacuate that place in Birmingham when they rebuilt the bull rings. They had a cholera grave.
Oh Christ. Well, yeah, I don't know. I personally this might sound a bit colonial, but I think some.
All right, Boris. Are you gonna say that we should start reciting Kipling's Road to something or other?
Yes, right in their fucking faces. No, but I do think somebody should maybe go in and, I don't know. I know this is an age-old tradition, but maybe just do a bit of dead body education, a bit like, you know, introduce hand washing stations.
Oh,
yeah. That goes without saying, yeah.
I mean, fuck's sake, I was at the exotic zoo today and there was hand wash stations everywhere, you know. Nothing was dead.
I don't understand why all of a sudden we have to have hand wash stations. We managed to. We grew up in the 80s. We never had hand wash stations.
We didn't have super bacteria that's resistant to antibiotics.
Yeah.
Just because Gaz has got super gonorrhea. We know you were the man in that article last time.
Well, you know. What can I say? I went to Japan and I came back with super gonorrhea. And had a super good time getting it.
Yeah, I would have to.
In order to catch it, I had to give her a super orgasm. You didn't read that part of the story.
No, we didn't.
So it's actually a badge of honour.
No. Well, fair enough.
Sorry if you're listening, darling.
Should we move on?
Yes, please.
I should also point out that Gaz doesn't really have super gonorrhea.
Just normal, bog standard gonorrhea. Nothing a course of antibiotics won't clear up. New story?
Okay. B&M is hiring a chicken nugget connoisseur.
Ooh.
But there are some odd requirements.
To explain, B&M is a high street chain in the UK.
It's bargain something, isn't
Bargain and something.
Yeah.
My favourite thing is in Wales, it's called B&M Bargaininian.
it? Ooh.
Yeah. Because they won't understand if it says bargain. It's in North Wales.
They do like their Welsh.
In an online ad, the company claims it is looking to expand its frozen food range and needs people to help test out the new range. The Merseyside-based opportunity simply involves eating the products and giving feedback to company bosses.
Ah.
And there's a job advert.
Okay, what are these unusual requirements?
6. So, getting the 20 share box of nuggets from McDonald's and keeping them all for yourself. Oh, everyone's done that. Being the first in the office kitchen whenever someone says there's cake. That time you tripped and fell at a buffet and saved the plate before yourself. Yeah, that's just preservation.
Before you read the next few out, I'm gonna guess that in this politically correct world that we live in, this is their roundabout way of saying we want a fat bastard.
Fat greedy bastard.
They kind of go hand in hand, don't they? Greedy fat bastard.
They do.
So, I mean, if you save the plate before you save yourself, I'd do that for a pint. Maybe.
I have done that.
You know.
We've all done that. I've done it for a plate, I think, rather than just, just like, and try and, because it looks cool, doesn't it? If you spill the food everywhere, you're a dick. You save the plate, you're a hero.
If it was between the plate and my face hitting the concrete, though, plate's going.
Well, yeah.
I don't care whose wedding it is. But, okay, sorry, I interrupted the list.
So,
What's next?
The next one, going to an event or party because there is free food. You value the importance of a fish finger sandwich in life.
Do you like a fish finger sandwich?
I fucking love fish finger and ketchup sandwich,
Yeah.
Boom.
It's also nice with toast and baked beans.
Ooh, yes. Fish fingers, they're a curiously British thing, I think.
Yeah. Everyone saw why Captain Birdseye's was on that boat with all them kids in the middle of nowhere.
Well, he's clearly kidnapped them.
Yeah, but why are we celebrating that?
I don't want to sniff his fishy fingers.
Oh. Wait a minute, mock child abuse, Mike.
I like a good chicken finger myself.
Yeah, I don't mind a chicken finger.
I like a Bernard Matthews turkey dinosaur myself.
Yeah, but I've seen that Jamie Oliver thing. I still
Turkey Twizzlers.
Yeah, still didn't put me off though. You ever seen it when he shows you what's in one? That was quite a funny moment where all the kids were like, yeah, well, we still want that.
They're still excellent.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Yeah.
And, oh man.
It's because they're shaped like dinosaurs.
Spam fritter. That's what I like. That's
Spam? Fried a bit of spam.
Yeah. You can get ones in breadcrumbs or batter as well, they're really nice.
Battered Mars bars.
I've never had a battered
I had
Mars
them in
bar.
Wales.
Yeah.
Oddly enough.
Is it worth it?
And one in Scotland, actually. Yeah. Very much worth it. Lovely.
Fantastic.
You should try them.
And the final one, I will. No, actually, if I had a deep fryer, I'd certainly try it. Apparently, you can deep fry cream egg as well.
Yes.
The last one, sorry, before we really delve off onto what we can deep fry.
I deep fried pizza.
You can conduct a PowerPoint presentation on the reasoning behind curly fries being nicer than chips. See, I don't think curly fries are nicer than chips.
I do like them, I must admit.
Hang on, this
I'm
job.
nothing against
It's a
them.
seasoning on them, it's like a
Yeah, that's what
fried
makes it
seasoning.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what have you read? This job, it's not like a highly paid.
No.
You know.
No.
The next line of the article is: the successful candidate will be given £25 vouchers every month to spend on fresh and frozen food in the store.
Yeah, but in
25 quid.
B&M, that's stocking up your fucking freezer for the month. That is
So it's
25
no different.
quid.
I'm not going to be able to quit my day job
Well,
and
you're
take up
getting,
the
you're
chicken.
getting the
nugget.
free food on top, I assume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. It's still, you know, they make it out like they're hiring, you know, like, you know, it's
A
going to be
chicken
minimum
nugget fucking
wage.
tester.
Yeah,
It's
you're-
not really a full-time occupation.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sure,
Well,
I
it
mean.
could be, but
You're
you're
not-
going to end up really diabetic and overweight.
Just sit there
Just
eating
eating chicken nuggets
for
and
8 hours a
B&M,
day.
which are full of sugar and salt and
You're going to see this
fat.
advertised again in 6 months after all the candidates died.
We don't know how it happened.
Massive heart attacks. Oh man. Or they start behaving like chickens.
Yeah, they actually eat so much of that stuff it transmutes their
Yeah,
DNA
there's
somehow.
A lot of chicken DNA left in it.
In a B&M nugget.
Yeah.
I wouldn't fancy it myself, I must admit. There's certain places I buy food from.
Mm.
B&M's not really one of somewhere I go into a shop.
No, put beer in there.
They sell the dated stock quite cheap.
You can tell you're unemployed. I'm fishing around
I've
the
in the past.
I've been fishing around the B&M bargain bucket.
Have you in the past tins
Ooh.
of soup for 10p?
Can't knock.
It's only a month out of date.
There's a reason to
Yeah, best before.
There's a difference between the sell by
Yeah.
date and the use by date. You
There
know,
is.
The sell by date's just a turnaround thing.
Actually, a can doesn't really go out of date, does it? Not for years. I mean, it'd have to be literally on the shelf. For,
beer does have a.
yeah, but a can of food.
Oh,
I mean,
sorry. It's when you say can, my mind instantly went to beer, and I'm now looking at my cans. They do have sell by dates, don't they? Oh, best before end, see end.
Yeah, it just means that after that date, their quality goes down
Mm.
as time progresses. That's all it means.
I've
Well,
only
fair
got
enough.
a year to drink this. Oh, less than a year now. It goes out of date in January. January.
Oh man, you better get on it.
Phew. Better drink all of them. Better go and buy 12 on the way home.
So yeah, if you fancy a job testing chicken nuggets out, you know, you might get diabetes and become massively overweight, but hey, you'll get 25 quid worth a month of B&M's frozen food.
Apply to B&M. Bless him.
Yeah.
Okay, one
Yep,
more.
one more.
What a job.
Scientists have created programmable shape-shifting liquid metal.
Yep, and that's just a T1000, so there we go. Or, isn't that what we got for Roswell?
Quite possibly. Who knows?
You know, that mysterious foil that crinkled up and sprung back into the same shape immediately.
What I will ask whoever's invented this to promise me is that you're not going to then attach this to fucking Sophia
Or Hans.
or fucking Hans. Yeah, don't somehow for the next one. We have. Remember that liquid metal we told you about? Well, we've just figured out that we can inject Hans's consciousness using a hypodermic needle into the centre of the liquid. Let's see what happens. Didn't that used to be a Fast Show sketch? Let's see what happens. Those two scientists, they'd be like, we sellotaped a cardboard tube to a fire extinguisher. Oh, yeah. Trust me.
Possibly.
I know what I'm on about. Let's see what happens. So, yeah, come on then. What's it doing?
Researchers at the
Fuckers.
University of Sussex and Swansea University have applied electrical charges to manipulate liquid metal into 2D shapes such as letters and a heart. The team say the findings represent an extremely promising new class of materials that can be programmed to seamlessly change shape. This opens up new possibilities in soft robotics and shape-changing displays, the researchers
Oh,
say.
good. So before you know it, you've got T1000s trotting about, skewering us all with knife hands.
Simple shapes, knives, and other stabbing weapons.
While the invention might bring to mind the film Terminator 2,
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Yeah, just...
in which the villain morphs out of a pool of liquid metal, The creation of 3D shapes is still some way off, so we're okay for a bit.
I think calling him a villain is slightly harsh. He's not a villain, he's just programmed that way.
A polymetal alloy.
That's it.
What the hell does that mean? Liquid metal. Oh well. I don't care if it's a few. This is everything starts somewhere,
Yeah.
and then electrifying a little pool of liquid to make a cute little heart shape one day leads to something that is pretending to be your stepmom, who then turns its arm into a knife and stabs your stepdad.
While he's drinking some milk.
Yeah, through a carton of milk and through his fucking brain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Impaling him to the fridge behind him.
Why do they bother?
Yeah.
And what are the practical... Oh, I suppose I just thought of a few. You could seal up holes in things, couldn't you? And
There was a
really
video,
quickly.
should we watch it?
Oh, God.
How long did it on for?
I don't know.
So loud it is.
It's only 1 minute.
Programmable
I'm
liquid
sure we'll
matter.
get the gist.
So what we're watching is sort of like a Connect 4 laying down on its back and liquid being manipulated to transverse.
It's making all sorts of little shapes and they're guiding it around and making it... They're effectively playing Snake with it, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he's clicking over here where he wants it to go, isn't he, on the grid?
Yeah.
And then it's doing it. So you could imagine if that was some kind of explosive material as well, and you could like just creep it along the
Yeah,
building.
feed it through cracks in
Yeah,
buildings
yeah,
and all
to the right
sorts.
hotel room of the diplomat you want to assassinate,
Yeah.
and then just boom.
Well, I guarantee that's what it's been developed for.
But to put my David Icke hat on for a minute, it's things like this is why you're not going to be allowed to take even 10 mils of liquids on an aeroplane. They'll be like, you could have that liquid metal bomb stuff, so
Yeah.
strip naked and let me take your dignity.
Just right here, right now.
Yep, in front of everybody else before I allow you on the plane. Oh man. Yeah, well, yeah, this is terrifying. Impressive.
Yeah, impressive but terrifying.
Like all these robo stories you show me.
Okay, guys, our pleasure.
We just
We'd like to
enjoy...
keep you informed.
Yeah, we like you
You
to
know how
know that
interested you are in it.
one day that robots will take your poet's soul.
But no. I was fucking Leona was like, what's wrong? And I was like, you see, I wish there's a fucking programme on BBC 4 I watched the other night, right, where a man tried to use science and maths and a computer to create a chart hit pop song, right?
Right.
And they created a song using all the algorithms and study of what song made it where and for how long is the charts, and this computer was able to give you what tempo it should be, and still at the end of the day, the entire consensus was that it just wasn't the fucking same. It didn't understand emotion at all. So the computer can't create fucking art as well as we do. It never will be able to.
At the moment,
It still
that's the
creates
point.
art.
At the
Oh,
moment.
Okay, yeah. You two are right. Everyone on this programme was wrong. You two are right.
Yeah, we are.
Okay?
Yeah, you're right.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's how it works.
Well, the music
We
is
just
like
like-
his shit.
We just like to play devil's advocate.
Indeed.
Pair of arrogant fucks. Devil's advocate. No. Sorry, the computer can't do it. It hasn't got emotion.
It'll be able to do it soon.
It won't. How can you replicate emotion? It's something you feel.
Yeah, it'll
It's
be...
just chemical imbalances in the brain, isn't
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know that that's a massive oversimplification. There's something about it.
Yeah, I know,
You know yourself that every experience, like you hear a song that makes you feel something that is entirely dependent on your life's
Of
experiences
course.
up to that point, and I'm feeling something
But
entirely
what about
different.
a robot? Doesn't that have life experiences if it learns?
Not the same. It won't be able to. We're human, man. It won't be able to. I'm saying it'll probably beat us in every other aspect of life, and it does create things that sound like this song was good. What it came up with,
Yeah.
it was. I mean, the human guy was manipulating as well, but he was working it on the algorithms and things. Anyway, it was good, and people agreed that's quite a good song. But there was just something not quite.
Yeah, it's like when I heard the death metal album that was
Oh, that
recorded
the
by
robots
the
made.
robots. Yeah, it was very,
by the numbers.
yeah, it was boring to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what they're doing now.
Well, yeah, that's another point about it.
Yeah. Anyway, we're better than machines.
We'll probably live to find out.
Yeah, absolutely. If we're not destroyed in a fiery nuclear apocalypse.
Well, yeah.
I doubt it.
As Hans gets control of the.
Power grid with his drone army. After they inject liquid metal into him.
I'm not planning on living much past 80. I think life starts to get not so much fun after that. So that's what, 50-ish years away. What's happened in the last 50 years?
quite a
And
lot.
You try and think, that's what I mean, then you try and think, and everything's moved exponentially quicker. In the next 50 years, what are we going to see? It's actually quite freaky, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it is, totally.
Who am I kidding? I'll fucking die at some sort of, my heart's going to explode in my chest while I bend down to pick up a pen on some Tuesday afternoon in my mid-50s.
Yeah, well, you will take that job testing chicken nuggets for B&M. So let's go to the film then.
Yeah.
And we left it last time with Evie Hammond had just been arrested by. Well, on reflection, we did agree that you could probably tell it was V in the ski
Yeah, but
mask.
it's your second viewing,
But,
there's some clues.
She's taken to an interrogation facility where she's has her head shaved. She's put in the cell. She's given a not quite a jumpsuit, is it? More like a little orange surgical gown kind of thing to wear. She's waterboarded. She's interrogated. She's told, just tell us something. Tell us where V is.
Yeah.
She refuses.
And you'll be let free.
And you'll be let free. Or you'll be shot. And she kind of, because she doesn't know where V is, she can't really give an answer, can she? But she does find a note in a cell, in a little cavity in the wall. And it tells the story of a lesbian actress named Valerie who was incarcerated in that facility, in that cell, or the cell next to hers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We find out later. And they were basically arrested and eventually executed for the crime of being lesbians. So when a partner were taken, and that kind of shows you what the thinking is at the time. That's deviant behaviour, and quoting the thing is, different became dangerous. And you do find out that Valerie's partner was the one that grew the Scarlet Carson roses, which V is so fond of.
Yeah.
And it's not kind of, it's quite some quite harrowing scenes, really. You know, she's having her head shoved into a barrel of water and variously interrogated, not beaten, but certainly living in rats and your own filth. It's not.
Yeah, and she's just sort of unceremoniously, dragged back with her feet dragging literally to the cell and just fucking dumped on the floor, and you see her food being thrown through the letter.
Yeah, the rat stealing a bit of it.
Yeah, it's brutal. She does well in this, the actress Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
The head shaving. I was singing because I read a quote of her saying that she was looking forward to shaving her head because she'd always wanted to. In that scene, she doesn't look like she is fucking bawling, and it looks real, man. You look at her face in that scene, it's like, whoa, that's not acting. She's fucking sobbing while they're just like, But,
it's not a gentle head shaving either, is it? It's
And it works. And the shock of seeing, you've been seeing her look so fucking pretty all throughout the movie, with a nice wavy, very feminine hair, long hair, and then it's just fucking brutal right in front of you, man. I'm trying to think. I think they did that in G.I. Jane.
Full Metal Jacket, of course, would be the famous one for the head shaving.
But I was thinking, you've seen it on men.
Oh yeah,
quite a lot in movies, but like seeing a woman with long, nice locks of hair, just having it shaved off. It's brute. It's shock. It's visually like whoa. And so I know she's paid a substantial, ungodly amount of money to star in this movie, but still, money doesn't buy hair.
Well, you can do. Ask Donald Trump.
Well, you know what I mean.
That's a live animal, isn't it?
Allegedly,
it's its own species. Yeah, so an excellent sequence and montage. And again, though, if you look back on your second viewing, you'll see clues to who it is.
Yes, because you never see who's doing the questioning or the you never see their face. They're always in shadow.
And I'd like to know, is that Hugo Weaving doing those voices? Just putting on a different...
Well,
not in his V voice.
It's an interesting question. I don't know.
Well, story-wise, it is him, isn't it?
Yeah, story-wise, it is.
I didn't think it was when I'm watching it.
In the making of the
do
movie.
believe that it's the government, don't you?
Yeah.
That's the initial...
The first time, man, that's a good scene. Really well put together. So, yeah.
But it brings that human element to this. Is like that she's reading that note from that woman who was just gay. That was it. That was enough reason for her to be in that scenario. Evie, in theory, she thinks she's been arrested for knowing a terrorist and helping him out. Yeah. All Valerie did was have a girlfriend.
And you see in the montage, literally the thing. I don't know if it's finger men, but it's the government, isn't it? The guys with the black hoods, the popo. the police.
The fingermen, yeah.
Coming in to take them away, black hood them, and she said, I knew that day would come, and it was like the saddest thing, and you see it like afterwards in the aftermath, like alone, not knowing. So she's been a lover all her life, you know, for a long time, soulmates together all the time, and then just snatched off the street.
Yeah, because she never found out what happened to her partner.
where
She
she's
was
gone.
taken while shopping. She
Right.
got out for some food, off the street, into a van, bag on the head, boom.
No chance to mourn, no chance,
No,
you know.
never saw her again, no real knowledge of what happened to her. And then I think that one of the grave scenes, the mass grave scenes we saw earlier, is actually her end as well. She's put into that mass grave, and it's kind of, she's a very, in a way, she's quite a central character to this, because she's the one that must have, I think she's the one that kind of got V going a little bit, if that makes sense. Well, this isn't right. I mean,
she's his one of his
certainly
main inspirations, because
he found
that letter in his.
That was his cell that she was in.
It's an amazing letter, isn't it?
It is. It's a great scene, and we're not. You know, it's like there's a lot to digest in that scene.
She's essentially someone, the Valerie character. She's lost everything. It's an utterly hopeless situation, and to keep some semblance of sanity, I guess, has written her life story. Just so somebody else, so it's not for nothing. So somebody else will find it.
And also that's all she's got to give.
Yeah.
It says at the end, and she says, "I love you. I don't know who you are, but I love you."
Yeah. Whoever you are, I love you.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's really good writing, and it gives Evie hope.
It does.
I suppose how it must have maybe helped V get through.
Yeah. I mean, how many times did he read that note?
Yeah, but it also galvanised him, didn't it?
It did.
Because he has a shrine to her, we see later on.
Yeah, with the roses that her partner grew, and in fact, the doctor actually says that those roses are thought to be extinct. So I don't know why, or if that's the case, or whatever in real life, but he knows how to grow them because, or certainly found out how to grow them because that woman's partner grew them, and he. It's almost like he's almost like not doing it for him in a way. He's kind of doing it for her, at some level. Not his major motive, obviously, but on some revenge level, he's got her in mind.
Well, he's probably lost. He's got nothing really. That's why he's not afraid of dying at all.
Well, he doesn't even know who he was before it all happened, does he? The doctor says that he didn't know who he was or what he did beforehand. He was just some bloke they picked off the street.
Yeah.
But she's basically taken to her final interrogation, isn't she, Evie? And they say, "Well, all right, you gonna tell us anything?" And she's like, "Nope." Okay, execute her behind the chemical sheds. Death by firing squad assemble a team of men, and then some chap comes in, doesn't he? And his face is obscured by the shadows, and he says, "Just tell them anything. Tell them anything. Just a little bit. Just tell them anything." That in itself is a mind game that interrogation people like to play. That threat of torture or execution hangs over you.
Hope.
And you offer that little. You just give us a carrot. Just give us something. And she says, "No, I'd rather die behind the chemical sheds." At that point, she's lost her fear of death, which means that they have got nothing. As they put it, they've got nothing to take away from her anymore.
The ego has been demolished, hasn't it? It's been broken down.
And she discovers that it is V. She exits through the last guy leaves the door open. She decides to walk out, and she's in the shadow gallery, and V is stood there. And he, apologises profusely. Obviously,
there's the moment she walks past the security guard that she's always seen at the end of the corridor, but then gets close to it, realises it's a dummy.
Yeah.
That makes you think, as a viewer, you're thinking, "Hang on, what's this now?"
On your first viewing of that, you've got to be like, "Holy what?" And then the reveal that it's been fucking V all along, and she's devastated.
Oh, she's not happy. She's in
quite
tears.
rightly.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be happy if somebody just took waterboard. Thing is, he says you've got to stay here for a year.
Yeah.
Right. So I know that she can't have been there for a year yet, but I reckon she's probably been in that for at least a month.
I think it might be.
Because I mean, she goes to
6
I
months.
think it's implied it's the majority, because if we start on November the 5th and we end on November.
Yeah, but she does leave before November the 5th and comes back. There's no kind of time frame in that bit.
I think it's implied that.
I think it's certainly a couple. I think it's certainly gonna be a couple of months she's in there for.
I think it might be like 9 months or something.
Yeah, you never know. But yeah, I think it's implied that this is a long fucking process. But yeah, so.
But they go onto the roof at that point.
Yeah.
She wants air to breathe, wants fresh air. And it is hammering down with rain. And what I thought was interesting was that V was kind of born in fire, and she was reborn in water.
Yeah. Look at you with the symbolism, Ben.
Yeah. I wrote that down, and I was a little bit drunk off Tisky, but I managed to catch that.
And what's the difference between them?
They're opposites.
He wants revenge and blood, and she wants,
Well, she's. Well, yeah, but we'll see at the end that she obviously does.
She does in the end. She doesn't kill anybody, does she?
She pulls the lever though. She sends.
Does that kill anybody? Or
I doubt it. I'd have thought it would have been evacuated at that point.
That's
so it's
true.
I doubt there'd be anyone in there. But anyway,
it was just a symbol, wasn't she? She wasn't a murderer.
We will get to that because I felt such an odd feeling of gratification as I saw that building go. But we'll see. She kind of does thank him. You have set me free, even though it was terrible what you did to me.
Yeah, that's
you have set me free, and he says to her, "I'd like to see you again before the 5th." So we still don't have a. I'm guessing there might be not certainly a month, maybe like a month to go at this point, maybe.
Well, her hair hasn't grown that much.
No, that's true.
And hair does grow quite quickly when it's been shaved.
But we then cut to the Chancellor and his inner circle, and they ask the question, well, what if Parliament is destroyed? His inner circle are brave enough to broach the subject with him.
Yeah.
It won't be. It won't be. And it's almost like he's starting to lose his grip on reality, as most dictators do. That people are starting to see through the lies they're being told. And there is, in the film alludes to it, that there is this just little undercurrents of stuff just happening. Nothing major at the moment, but just people not quite believe, people in the pub sat there going, well, that's bollocks, on the telly. Just little undercurrents of things. So he is desperately trying to cling to power here.
So the curtain is being opened.
The curtain is being opened.
The wizard has been
let
revealed to be a sham.
He's a cunt.
I never quite understood that Wizard of Oz. I mean, I understand the wizard's motivation because he wants just to rule everything, doesn't he? But he's like, I can get you home. Take this balloon. I never quite. It's a shit film. Fuck it.
It's that Ben's review of
Wizard of Oz. Shit film. Fuck it.
Oh right, I honestly had no
Yeah.
fucking clue what you were talking about for a couple of sentences, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try and look. I know the Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard behind the curtain.
Yeah,
Right,
Wizard
I'm
behind the
really
curtain, and he's running
so-
the big machine, isn't he? And he's like, shit film.
I
Fuck it.
think that's a critique of capitalism. The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, well, there's that munchkin who's hung himself in the background of one of the shots.
Was there?
Apparently, yeah. Actually, that's an urban myth. There wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think in the corner of the shot there's a munchkin hanging himself.
Wow. Well,
It's a silhouette behind a backdrop. Apparently, one of the munchkins committed suicide on set, and they didn't notice, and it was left in unintentionally.
They didn't notice.
Allegedly, it's not in view. It's like a silhouette. It's a silhouette, apparently, but it's
They
also
didn't
not
notice
true.
he killed himself.
But they did give. It was a bird that played Dorothy.
They went back after made the set. They go, hang on a minute. There's a fucking skeleton of a munchkin hanging. How long has he been there?
Well, Mission Lives Matter 2, Mike. Munchkin Lives Matter 2.
no, they don't. Cut him down. Let's carry on. Just chuck him in the dumpster. Be fine.
Who played Dorothy in that film?
Judy Garland.
She was given speed to keep her weight down.
That, yeah.
Well, I can.
Used to put cocaine in the Coca-Cola, didn't they?
Oh yeah, we need them days back.
I could certainly advocate for the use of speed in terms of working long hours.
And as a weight loss drug.
Yeah, it's great.
You don't see many fat speed addicts, do you?
No, speed's a wonder drug.
Don't tell the government, that will all be on it.
In moderation. That's why it's illegal. They know it. Anyway, interesting fact I learned about Coca-Cola. I know everyone, like you alluded to, everyone sort of knows the fact that it used to have cocaine in it. But I learned from a podcast I listened to that the guy who started Coca-Cola, he nicked it. It already existed. It was a mixture of wine and cocaine, drunk in Europe. It was given to children, and people used to apparently have three glasses a day, spread out through the day.
Sounds great to me.
Cocaine and wine, amazing. And he just sort of took the wine out of it, and called it Coca-Cola. And then eventually had to take the cocaine out.
Yeah.
And Coca-Cola have a special license with the government. They're the only people that are allowed to import the coca leaf, because they basically do make cocaine with it in their process. But the cocaine that is produced as a byproduct, they sell, in quotes, for medicinal, to like laboratories for medicinal use, research purposes. Or like, fuck you, that's resold on the black market to fucking South American gang lords. Like,
what gets more money, selling it to drug cartels or selling it to the labs?
Exactly. But yeah, Coca-Cola do still make cocaine. And it used to be Coke and wine. So look at me, I listen to other podcasts that have real facts on them. Try desperately to remember them through the clogged sponge that is my brain, and occasionally repeat half-bastardised versions of those facts to you, the listener of our cast.
That's research, people. Welcome. That is research.
You're welcome.
You're lucky people.
Well, educate, incite, enthuse, inform. That's the BBC's mission, but also mine.
Right.
Yeah, but it used to be there. Okay. That's when they were set up. That's what they were. Apparently
that explains why you photoshopped that Russian hat onto me earlier. Should we go to the film?
Oh yes.
So we cut to Finch and his assistant, and they've been working on this premise that there was something not quite right about the biological attack on St Mary's and Three Waters. And they meet William Rockwood at the memorial, which is a creepy little memorial, isn't it? You see, remember it? The children dancing around in a circle. Yeah. Looks a lot like the one they had in Stalingrad, actually.
Oh.
They had it's quite a prominent thing in a lot of the photos of this. I think it was a Revolutionary War memorial, and there's like these children dancing around in a circle. The St Mary's thing looks exactly like that.
Ah.
And he, William Rockwood. Try saying that. William Rockwood. It's not as easy as it sounds.
William Rockwood?
No, fuck off. I have trouble with R's sometimes. It's a sign of high intelligence.
Sorry.
And he says to them, he tells them the biological attack was carried out by the government. What if you had a perfect biological agent, but you also have the cure to that biological agent?
Wow.
Why attack another country when to expand your grip on power, you can attack your own country and then sell them the cure and make yourselves very rich? And this is why we find out that certainly Prothero, who was killed earlier, the voice of London, had a lot of money in, I forget the name of the biodoxin, but also Mr. Creedy, who's head of the Finger Men. He's head of the secret police. He's effectively the Himmler of this.
Yes.
This little band of motley crew, renegade, fascist type people
in government
who are in power. And actually, one of the interesting things was it gives a brief background on Sutler in this scene, and he was a deeply religious Conservative MP, and his Northfire party, which he must go on to create. I think Nigel Farage watched this film and thought, "Oh, that's a good idea."
Yeah, I bet.
They sweep the election. I mean, literally, it's like it shows a pie chart of the votes, and it is literally like Labour Party 6%, Tory Party like 7%, others, and it is like.
Oh, got him.
Yeah, so they sweep the election, and he gains more and more power, and basically fear, panic, and accusations drip through the country until at last the true goal is accomplished. That is absolute power and fear.
Yeah.
So, and extremists were caught. Extremists in quotations, and they confessed. If you're being waterboarded, you'll confess to fucking anything after a while.
Yeah. That's why they say torture doesn't actually work, does it?
No.
Because you can get anyone to fucking say anything. And it also creates that air of, by the government being the ones who provide the cure, it creates that atmosphere of dependency.
Yes,
we need them.
That's what fashion's all about,
isn't it?
Well, we read that brilliant quote last episode that Alan Moore gave about how fascism is giving up your your accountability, giving up it's a way of just not having to think, basically.
Yeah, so when you're shooting those guys into a mass grave, it's not me, it's for the good of the state. It's not to do with me.
Yeah,
it's doing
it's for the betterment of unity and for the greater good.
The greater good.
Yeah.
That attack killed like 80,000 people, and it's still alluded to in the film as a quarantine zone around the area,
Yeah, because he goes into it, doesn't he?
Can't help but see parallels between that and the... Go on, Mike, say it. The
Novichok.
Novichok, that's it. Attack that we had incident that we had with the Russian spy. The government just watched this film and thought,
Well, is this the start of a... have they cordoned off that street, that town? Is this the start?
Well, they're saying that the ground could be infected for X amount of years after, but...
I bet if we just put on, if you're going to do a bit of painting and decorating, you get an all-in-one white suit with a hood.
it's very similar, but it's a little bit more refined than that.
We'll put one of them on, some big yellow rubber gloves, just a normal, dust mask. I bet it's not that poisonous. They're just saying that so nobody will go there and look for the evidence.
There's a picture at the scene and there's people in the full hazmat suits.
NBC gear,
There's a bit of police tape next to them, a foot away, and then a foot other side of the tape there's a policeman just sitting there with no protection.
Yeah.
That's because he hasn't crossed the magic tape.
But there is a thing with that, is that the quarantine zone where he would be is set back a lot further than needs to be. So he can stand there, but you've got guys coming out of that area in the suits, and it's on their suits. Unless they've been decontaminated at that point, it's on their suits. I mean, I've seen photos of, there's guys in the full NBC kit, military guys, and they've got the hoods up and the masks on, gloves, the boots, the full lot, stood next to blokes in just normal uniform, and you're like, well, shouldn't you all have that on?
Well, I haven't looked much into this one. Maybe we'll have to do an episode on it.
It just seems odd that the Russian Prime Minister would poison somebody on foreign soil with an agent that is only made in Russia, so it leads directly back to him. It's not the cleverest thing to do, is it?
Putin is the president who was head of the KGB, and you'd think that he would know how to organise an assassination properly, wouldn't you?
Maybe it wasn't supposed to be secret. Maybe this is a balls out, just it was me.
Well, when he rides,
that's the West's argument, saying that he did it to make himself look strong for the elections.
And when he rides a bear into Parliament Square, bare-chested, holding an AK, then...
And who got poisoned? What was it? Why was he significant?
He was a traitor. Well, he was a counter, and he was a traitor, effectively, to the Russians. He betrayed them and told us secrets, and he was employed by MI6. Double agent kind of thing.
Yeah.
Granted amnesty, him and his daughter and family.
Well, why would we kill him?
Well... Because our Prime Minister's approval ratings are plummeting like there's no tomorrow, and she needs a war to pick herself up.
But with Russia?
I know, you don't poke the bear, do you?
It's not going to end well for us, is it?
No. We'll be caught in between America and Russia, won't we? We'll get the worst of it.
We'll get the worst of the nuclear exchange.
This is like if, to try and impress my girlfriend, we were out somewhere and I was like, oh look, there's Conor McGregor. And I just went and bitch slapped him right around the face and was like, yeah, come on then, Conor. And then I was just murdered in front of her, and she had to weep and carry on life without me and get over the trauma of seeing me murdered.
The thing is though, we've got the USA on our side. We're better than Russia.
Yeah, but alright then, so it's like me and... Who else?
And they have a much bigger military.
Anthony Joshua, the boxer who won the other night, the British guy. He's massive. He's world champion of all the things.
He's a good boxer.
He's your mate.
I've got him stood behind me, right?
Yeah.
And he says, "Go on, then you can have Conor." And I'm like, "Yeah, I can, can I, Anthony? I'll go and get him." Oh, and I go and get in a little scrap with Conor, and then my mate Anthony just sits back. He's like, "Nope, you started it."
Yeah. So and then he kills what he does is he lets Conor come in.
Right.
He lets Conor tire himself out a little bit, punching and kicking you, and he comes in and wipes the floor with him.
That's it.
Right.
America don't care because
then they end up. Chances are in charge of most of Western Europe because the governments would be shattered and the countries would be shattered and. Everything is going through them then, is it? All the aid, all the rebuilding of the infrastructure is all going through there. It's all money back in their pockets.
All the nuclear silos are in European countries.
So back to the
still
analogy
in the US?
They do, but a lot of them in Europe.
Me and Conor are just collateral damage then.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua in this analogy is the big bad dog, and he's just he wants. Oh, America. Oh. Yeah, I don't like any of this.
Nope.
I thought, why are they letting us start the fight? Why don't they do it?
Because they didn't start the fire.
Well, it's always burning.
It's always been
the world was Oh, why can't we let France start it or something?
Because no one would just surrender, wouldn't they? Oh, it's true. Cheese-eating surrender monkeys.
I don't know, they're a bit more strict than us about, the old hijabs and things like that, aren't they? They're not afraid of upsetting the...
Yeah, but they also have a lot
and
more...
they keep getting bombed.
They also have a lot more terror attacks.
That's
than
why
we
they
do.
don't have such a... Do they have such a historical past with Russia like we do?
Do we have such a past with Russia?
The Crimean War and...
Yeah, French were there too.
Were they?
Yeah, it was us and France, really. Actually,
Well,
to be fair.
I guess it's just
Yeah,
bad luck that the Yanks chose us to be their proxy.
Basically, the rest of Europe tolerates the Americans, as well as we've got the special relationship because we used to own them and all that. We've been on there. We can't keep in their good books. So the rest of Europe doesn't really care. They agree to have their stuff over there because it aids their defence, but other than that, like the French don't particularly like the Americans. I don't think. I'd argue it's pretty. And Germany, I know,
we're the link to Europe
and Poland,
for them, aren't we?
That's it. Yeah, we're their back door in, literally the back door in. So it's interesting. Global politics. Never say we don't give you up to date current stuff, listeners.
They'll listen to this in the future. We might all be dead by now.
Yeah, good point.
So,
Good
in
point.
the analogy then, quickly, I would just like to encourage me, in the analogy, to ignore Connor's taunts and whatever Anthony's saying in my ear and just walk on by
Don't get a beer.
and not slap Connor.
Yeah,
And this will all be fine.
exactly.
We'll have a nice pint and this will all blow over. Yeah.
I wouldn't look at him though in the pub.
Don't make eye contact.
No, don't make eye contact.
Just look ahead, ignore him.
Watch the telly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good one. Look at your phone. You're never alone with a phone. It's a line
No,
from
the
Peep
school-faced aliens know exactly what you want. What are you looking at? Actually, a bit of dating in the film now, a bit of timeline. It does say Sutler's not happy that V hasn't been caught. It's 347 days have passed since the TV broadcast on last November the 5th. So we're getting very close now. To November the 5th. And then you got Mr. Creedy, head of the Fingermen.
Yes.
All round bit of a scumbag, isn't he?
Creepy old bastard.
But as a low animal cunning, you'd argue, survival is
Yeah.
his thing.
Yeah.
He's
He's one of the ones who's
he's-
already
he's-
thinking he'd like to take over.
He's a
Yeah.
psychopath, isn't he?
he is. He's a pure sociopath. He wouldn't care how many children he had to shoot as long as he got
Look
the
at
power.
his skin, isn't it?
And he's also classed as the party leader. So he's almost got a bit of a Martin Bormann kind of role going on here. I'm the chancellor, but you're head of the party kind of thing.
Okay.
So he's like he's the number two, but not quite the number two.
Administrative number two.
Yeah,
Sort of thing.
yeah.
He deals with the day-to-day sort of.
He's the secret police. He's organising all that. A bit of a Himmler, but Himmler wasn't. He was deputy, but he did take over. But Creedy will be the guy who's going to step up and he's got that low animal cutting. He's up for something. He plays the game
It's like Optimus and Hot Rod.
in a way.
When Optimus dies, Hot Rod will be anointed to leadership. That analogy doesn't work. Back to the film.
But basically, V approached him in his greenhouse, and Creedy has the 1812 Overture playing in that greenhouse, which has already been blacklisted. So he's breaking the law anyway.
Yeah.
Breaking the law.
Breaking the law, dude.
Breaking the law.
You can't resist it.
No, you can't.
That's
You
how
can't.
the rules.
And V approaches him and he says, look, you know Sutler can't be trusted, and you know when I succeed, you'll be offered up as a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
He says, you're clever enough to know that, and that's why Sutler's underground, guarded by men you can trust.
Yeah.
So even the Chancellor's guards
Yeah.
aren't the Chancellor's guards,
No.
they're Creedy's guards. He says to him, look, you agree, I want Sutler, put an X on your door, you get me.
Yeah.
Which
Gives her
he
a
then
piece of
does.
chalk.
He does, gives him a piece of chalk, and you see him marking the X. Finch at that point gets a phone call saying that Rockwood's been dead for 20 years, and he realises that was V telling him all that.
Yeah.
And he's not happy.
Kicks a bin.
He kicks a bin, which is very British.
Yeah. Who hasn't got drunk and kicked the
bin.
fuck out of a bin?
Exactly, exactly. Especially a wheelie bin bastards. And what it's cool at this point as well is it's quite like it's in the comic books as well. I remember it being quite like an iconic little bit of a scene. Is the setting up of the dominoes.
Oh yeah, man.
He's got that awesome domino pattern set up, and whoever
took 2 days to film.
Really,
it's a fucking awesome sequence.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, and the way it just falls to the last one, left in the middle, standing up, takes that with him. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's badass. I wish I had the patience to set something like that up. And then we get cut to the next scene, which is London is in absolute fucking chaos because the British Parcel Network, I assume that's what it's for, BPN, because everything's British, remember, in this film. You got 700,000 V costumes being delivered, at least several 100,000 V costumes being delivered across London, and the city is in absolute fucking anarchy.
It's awesome.
As you see, like, there's a little girl spray painting a wall with the V logo, and there's a guy robbing a shop.
Yeah.
It's anarchy in the UK, mate.
Yeah. It's coming sometime, and it may be.
But sadly, that little girl who just kind of features a recurring character, you can't miss. She's wearing the mask, and she's got her glasses taped to it, and she's just running around, and a policeman, one of the finger men, shoots her in the back. Doesn't issue a warning, just puts 2 rounds in her back, and the crowd gathers around him, and he's like sort of a bit of a montage kind of thing. You don't hear what he's saying. He holds up his badge, and then pulls his gun again. And then some bloke clocks him around the face with a spanner, which I thought was quite cool. More of a wrench and a spanner, but
that was the spark, wasn't it?
That was the spark. Then the riots are breaking out.
The speech that V's giving about where he's saying that somebody will do something stupid, or is it Finch? No, it's Finch that
it's
gives
Finch.
That speech
He's like, someone will do something stupid.
Yeah. Apparently, that comes from possibly War and Peace, a very famous book. It's how whoever wrote it, just exactly how they describe Napoleon's downfall. Apparently.
Ah.
I should have wrote that down. I hope I've got that factoid right.
So riots are breaking out. It says Brixton is flaring up. There's riot footage on the news. Obviously, the subtler is then like, they're gonna be cracked down on. They'll be, if you're caught doing this, they'll be taken off to wherever at this point, and another sort of weird internment camp where you just get shot.
You react with fucking more
violence, more force.
Like we need to fucking stamp this out.
You clamp down harder, and the thing is, at this point, they are monitoring the phones, probably the internet use.
Yeah.
Every home has got a fucking portrait of the Chancellor in. Chances are that's got a fucking camera in it somewhere.
Well, they control the TV in every home.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Could we possibly have a quick?
Yes, we can.
2 seconds.
Yeah. And we're back. So, continuing the film, Evie returns to the Shadow Gallery to see V, as she promised she would. It's the music, isn't it? The song playing, and one of his V's, and she says, "Oh, I missed that song." He asks her to dance, and she says, "Well, I'm going to dance on the eve of your revolution." And
he says,
"A revolution without dancing is a revolution not worth having."
Yeah.
So I do hope that V is not actually Kevin Bacon from Flashdance.
No, he's going to be dancing to reggae.
Not Flashdance. What's that fucking film Kevin Bacon's in?
I wish Footloose.
Footloose.
I wish the English marches were like the Spanish marches, for example. I mean, they dance at their marches.
Do they?
Yeah. They have drums and everything, and drums going.
There was actually reggae playing from
from
the free cannabis stand. We did spend a lot of time next to the legalised cannabis boys.
They weren't giving out free cannabis.
No, but there was a lot of passive going on.
We're getting high off the fumes.
Yeah, pretty much at that point, yeah. I put up with the reggae for that.
Yeah. That was the only music, wasn't it?
It was. I had some shitty punk on repeat. There was shit punk that I didn't even recognise what it was.
Well.
So we go back to Sutler, and the question again is asked, what if he succeeds? And at this point, they said, well, an air attack is impossible, there's anti-aircraft guns and missiles and blah, blah, blah. Finch has argued that the trains, the underground system would provide the best attack. They were all apparently sealed.
Yeah.
And of course, and he says, well, let me tell you, the Sutler says, well, let me tell you this, if it does succeed, the only thing I'll be reading on my desk in the morning is Mr. Creedy's resignation. So it's another reason for Creedy to betray him.
Yeah.
It's not very good leadership, really, is it?
What?
Well,
He's a
he's using
dictator.
fear, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's using fear like the prince in
But he probably also,
Machiavelli.
but he also knows that Creed is after his job, probably. So if he can remove him, it's almost like Sutler would almost want V to succeed in this respect, in a way, because he could get rid of Creedy problems free then, couldn't he?
Well,
the thing is, he's got that hold over Creedy because he knows he's Irish, for example.
That's Finch.
As if
Finch's
Finch-
mother was Irish.
Who is it? He's got something over him, hasn't he? He must have. But he knows that. He knows the murders he's done, for starters.
Well, yes, that's true. But it should Sutler suddenly meet an unexpected end, then who's going to step in?
Well,
Head of party.
That's Sutler's fault for not recognising the threat, isn't it?
Well, Sutler's basically Hitler, isn't he?
He's meant to be, yeah.
You know, so everyone you can imagine, apart from Creedy, whatever his name is, everyone else is operating under like abject fear, and like you just don't question the Führer. You know,
That's it.
you just do what you're told.
He doesn't realise that his power's diminishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Creedy is
still-
actually growing because all his guards are the guys that Creedy trusts are on his payroll.
That's his
Sutler's
lack of
still-
insight, isn't
Of
it?
course it
So
is.
he's high on his own hubris.
Yeah.
I think I'm using that word right.
Foolish pride, it means.
Yeah,
So,
he doesn't see it, you know, 'cause he's all powerful, isn't he? Or he has been for quite a while. And
Yeah.
arrogance comes with that, doesn't it? Complacency.
Well, he's been in power for 20 years at this point, I think, in terms of the film.
And Creedy probably knows he could be just shot at any point, and
Yeah. One fuck
Sutler-
up too many and
Yeah,
off you trot.
if Sutler orders it, he's going to be, you know, black.
when things are working, Creedy doesn't need to do that. He's in a good position. He's in a high position.
Yeah, for 20 years he's been laughing, hasn't
Yeah. But when things go bad,
he?
that's
For 19
when
years he's been laughing.
things are slipping. That's when his ruthlessness comes out, and he spots a vulnerability,
Yeah. Well,
as V does, and they conspire to take down Sutler.
that's part of V's genius, isn't it? He's been able to see this and work this out and know that he can. Easier way for him to do it.
Yeah.
Well, the only way for him to do it is with Creedy's help, basically.
That's it. He set out the domino effect.
Yeah.
And he knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, because he knows that when Sutler's gone, the rest aren't a threat, but Creedy still is as well. So he pretends to work with him, because he doesn't say that, you know, when he meets him in the greenhouse, he doesn't say that I'm going to kill you. He says, I want Sutler. That's what I want Sutler. I don't care what you do. I want Sutler, basically, in so many words, not in that. But anyway, so after come back to the
I guess V knows that's the only way he's going to get to him.
yeah,
Yeah,
because he's
he wouldn't
underground.
be able
He's
to get
guarded.
through everybody, yeah.
You won't be able to get in there.
He
yeah.
physically, literally
He's in
couldn't get to him.
He's in the Führer bunker, isn't he? At this point, he's
Yeah.
wherever the hell that is in the middle of London. I mean, he's
Pindar bunker.
Pindar bunker or the Cobra bunker, which used to be called the Bra. I think I've said it before, but it used to be Bra. It was known as, and everyone used to giggle about it. It's briefing room A.
Okay.
And they had to change it to cabinet office briefing room A because Cobra sounds a lot better than Bra.
For fuck's sake, we're so ridiculous.
No.
aren't we?
Bra. You're going in the bra.
Boobies going bras.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you're 53 years old and a member of the government. I know, but
Bra.
change it.
V gives Evie a gift. He gives her the Shadow Gallery, all the books, all the artwork, all his culture. Everything there is hers. And the gift of sending this underground train.
We forget that.
He spent 10 years clearing the tracks and laying tracks of his own, he says. He's like, you know, so it's stocked to the brims with fireworks and British fertiliser,
Yay.
which is obviously can be used as an
We
explosive.
forget to mention the biggest gift that he gave her.
His big burnt willy.
The gift of not giving a shit.
Yeah, the gift
No,
of no
we
fear.
had alluded to that
Did
when
we
she
lose
came
that?
out the
Okay. Yeah.
The
the
power
gift
to say
yeah,
no.
the power to say no and just to do it. There's not fear for your own life because she just says, "Is that what they want you to think, or is that what they?" We said last episode. Is that what they want you to think, or is that what they told you to think?
It's nice at the end. It comes into play where Finch points the gun at her and says, "You know, don't pull that lever," and she just looks at him and calmly says, "No,"
Yeah.
and turns around and does the deed. So yeah, that's what he's given her.
Yeah. So he leaves her the choice of blowing up Parliament. He says, "The time has come for me to meet my maker and repay him in kind for what he has done." So I quite like that. That was she does actually offer him. She kisses his little mask. She kisses his mask and says, just run away with me. Let's go. And V does love her, I think.
I think so.
He says it, doesn't he?
He does. The fact that I can't remember, later on he says, the fact that that's the greatest gift you gave me is that you've said that.
Yeah, if she dropped to her knees and said, "This is the greatest gift I'm going to give you," maybe he may have stayed.
Well, but he doesn't. He doesn't take her up on the offer of just doing one on the night of his greatest triumph. Which I think is slightly, I don't know. I suppose you got to offer them the way out, haven't you? But he's been working for 20 years for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Bros before hoes. I don't. He's got a job to do. He's been planning it a long time.
He has. He meets Creedy and a squad of armed soldiers, policemen, whatever they are, in a sort of abandoned underground little chamber. They bring Sutler in, dragging him by, like Evie was dragged in, by the feet dragging on the floor, bag on his head. V hands him the rose, and Sutler kind of shows his true cousin. He begs for his life and cries, and Creedy just sort of basically shoots him in the face, effectively.
Yeah. Headshot.
Yeah.
No hesitation, was
No,
it?
just does it.
Yeah.
I'm in charge now.
He should have done the Mozambique triple tap though.
He doesn't need to at that range. With that caliber of revolver as well, he doesn't need to do that.
Well, you see the hole in Sutler's head, didn't you?
Yeah,
For the body, it's the even the entry hole is significant.
Yeah, it's a pretty big hole. I don't think he needs to do 3 shots for
I'll
that.
just say it's been professional.
Well, I admire professionalism, Mike, and I'll always commend it, but
It's pretty brutal, isn't it? To be
Yeah.
fair. Boom. But yeah, no hesitation.
he then tells V to remove his mask and let's have a look at you.
Yeah.
And 3 blokes go up to him and approach him, and as soon as they got to touch the mask, they are literally taken out.
And we get a bit
With
of
knife time.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty ninja.
Yeah.
And I think we need. There's one thing. This film at this point needed some metal playing
Would have been quite cool.
while he's doing the old knife
Yeah.
action.
Not really. V's not really. I know we'd enjoy the metal.
Yeah.
but He'd probably prefer some classical.
Well, I don't mind. Whatever fits it, really.
Yeah.
Adagio for strings number 8 would be nice. The little platoon theme. That'd be pretty cool.
I do think this is an indication, definitely. The trails, the visual trails that you see on the end of the blades as he's moving, and how quickly he gets through people, and the people he's killing are in sort of slow motion.
Well, but we'll get to that in a second, because the only thing V says to Creedy, the only thing you and I have to in common, Mr. Creedy, is that we're both about to die, and he's got literally sort of 8 or 9 guns pointed at him here. V has.
Yeah.
And he says to him, how's that going to happen? And V replies, with my hands around your neck. And Creedy says, bollocks.
Yeah.
See, I like Creedy to a point, because he's quite a straight. I quite like his straight talking, isn't he?
He's a psychopath, so that's why.
I don't know what he's trying to say.
You're a psychopath. No, I'm joking.
But,
You have emotions now and then.
some of them,
Occasionally.
the major ones, ball ache,
Sometimes.
that kind of thing. But no, this is. So what you have are bullets, V says, and the hope that when your guns are empty, I'm no longer standing, because if I am, you'll be dead before you've reloaded. And they literally just all open up. 30 rounds, 2 seconds apiece to empty the mag. 8 or 9 blokes, that's a lot of bullets flying through the air.
Certainly is.
And they fire until they're empty. And V is still standing at this point, although he's taken some hits.
He has.
He's taken a lot of hits.
Yeah.
And he says, my turn. And then we cue, as I was getting more and more drunk, progressively drunk as I watched the film, cue badass knife killy death carnage.
Yeah.
There's some really cool fighting. I said to Mike the other night that the one thing I felt one criticism I have is I'd like to see more of V in action.
Yeah, I think a lot of people felt that way.
As Mike pointed out, that the fact that you don't see him in action as much kind of
makes
adds
it
to
a
the
bit
fact
sweeter.
that it's a bit more mysterious. What could he do exactly?
It makes it more profound.
Made it more profound as well. He doesn't need the violence. It's only when it's necessary or for his own
Because too
personal
much
gain.
violence can saturate it, can't it? And if you've got it in just key places, then it makes it more, highlights
Means
it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with that point of view. But I would have liked just seen a few more of the high-ranking guys taken out. But as you said, this is a long-ass film.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking 6 editions of the comic, something like that.
I think it was 10 issues.
Really? So it's you've got to, and that's sadly this film kind of suffered the same as Watchmen did. You had a lot of storyline to cram into a film, and you couldn't do 2.
Yeah.
You had to cram a lot of stuff into, and they're both long-ass films. Arguably the best films DC have done in the modern era, I would argue.
Yeah, I'm quite a big fan of both films, and I appreciate The Watchmen as a film version. I've read the book The Watchmen several times, but I appreciate they're 2 different things.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't want to see. You can't. Same with any book. You can't exactly.
You can't always do it
translate
justice.
into it, you know. And I think what they did do was it was a good superhero film. At the time, I thought it was the most realistic treatment of superheroes, you know.
Yeah.
But you know that from the book. But Alan Moore, man, he's a wizard.
He is.
He's fucking amazing.
He is literally a wizard.
Some of the best Batman stories ever written were by him.
Yes.
His most famous one's The Killing Joke.
Of course, that was made into an animated film not long ago. It wasn't very good.
No.
I didn't watch it.
Controversially, I heard the creator say that. So the final page of the film of that comic is The Killing Joke. Batman and Joker on their knees. It's in sort of silhouette. Batman's got his hand around the Joker's throat.
Yeah.
And he tells some sort of joke. I can't remember the exact words, but it's laughing, laughing, laughing. The laughing stops. Fade to black.
Yeah, you never know.
Apparently, the artist I read said, "Oh, Batman kills him at the end. That's the point. He finally breaks Batman, which is a groundbreaking, massive thing.
Absolutely.
But nobody, it's sort of, because it's the last panel, the last page. People just kind of assumed that he didn't, but the artist said, "Oh no, he snaps his neck." Like, so yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because the thing is, he had finally broken because he'd shot Barbara Gordon and paralysed her, who was Batgirl. And then he got Commissioner Gordon and Joker tried to drive him insane in some weird fun house where weirdly Gordon was kept naked all the time.
Yeah.
And he like, and
There
is that, when you read it, did he kill him or not? And that was the thing, did he? Did he not?
I guess called The Killing Joke, I'd imagine.
But then he tells a joke and they both laugh. Both Batman and the Joker laugh. And Batman never laughs.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
that's a big giveaway.
Especially not the Joker's jokes. He's not gonna laugh at that. But that's like Joker is. Are you and I gonna do this thing forever?
Yeah, essentially, that's what they do.
Yes.
You made me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he wouldn't. He needs the villains, doesn't he? Or Batman wouldn't exist.
Well, to try and tie it back to V, same writer, same kind of situation. V was created by this government.
These people who he's...
Yeah, these exact, precise people. And he's taken them out individually and in the process giving the nation a bigger gift like he gave to Evie. He's giving them the gift of saying no as well, isn't it? Like you know, and he scolded them in his thing, you know, you voted these fuckers in, but I understand why.
Yeah, the fear...
And now here's your opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, he says in the thing, the fear, you know, it's easier to blame the Muslims and the gays and anyone else who's... And he says that different becomes dangerous. If anyone's different, I mean, you know, in that scenario, us two probably rounded up.
Yeah.
We certainly wouldn't be sat here talking about this.
Well, we smoke weed and like talk about weird shit on the internet, so they'd probably cut a connection at
the
least.
parties we voted for.
Absolutely.
You know, Green
Those of us that
Party.
voted.
Yeah. So, so V has literally killed all the guys with Creedy. Creedy has managed to reload his very big, heavy revolver, which I'm assuming
that's it. To finish my point I started earlier.
Oh, go on.
The trails on the knives and the fact that the people reloaded are in slow-mo, it's a dead cert that he's moving in sort of super speed, or at least a much faster rate than everyone else. So whatever they've done to him, he is enhanced.
Yeah.
You know, not just his reflexes and his strength. He can fucking move like a...
Absolutely,
like
I mean...
Superman.
I mean, reloading a magazine from a belt, you should be talking no more than 4 seconds, really. You know, especially the way those guys are doing it, they literally just press the eject button, the clips fall out the submachine guns. they should be already reaching as that's happening for another magazine. It's in. Bolt release, no more than sort of if you're a train guy like that, and they're meant to be Creedy's top man. Then you're looking at no more than 3-4 seconds for a reload there.
And there's one awesome shot of he leg sweeps someone. With
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And they fly up into the air, and he spins round and fucking stabs them as their body is on the way down.
Yeah.
So he stabbed you once.
And I think that then he pulls that knife out and sees a guy who's just literally about ready to start firing and just launches the knife. Takes him out, and then I think the final one is going through the.
It goes in the head, the last one, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Throws it at the last one's head.
But Creedy does manage to reload at that point. Otherwise, if he'd got a speed load, he'd have been a lot quicker for a revolver. I must have. He's reloading individual shells. That's just amateur. It's Creedy says, "Why won't you die?" And this is what I've got. I'll get my tattoo out because it focuses on this particular point.
Ben has a V tattoo.
I do.
Those that are confused.
Yes. And he says, beneath this mask, there's more than flesh, Mr. Creedy. There is an idea, and ideas are bulletproof. And it says, ideas are bulletproof on my arm.
It's a good saying.
Yeah. And they are bulletproof, so it makes sense.
Yeah. It's kind of metaphorical, don't you think?
Yeah, it is for me. Yeah. It's a metaphorical film, and I do get it occasionally.
It's kind of,
I can be deep and I have to be.
But then one could be saying, how about then, ideas spread through, people talking, like memes, where the word meme comes from.
Oh, obviously, if you shoot everybody who has the idea, then...
shoot everybody who knows about it, then it's dead, isn't it?
Yeah, but it could always spread, or someone else could have the same idea.
If you just kept executing.
Yeah, but it's like someone across the other side of the world could have that same idea.
Genocide.
But then there's no one left apart from you.
But the idea
you're going to kill the entire population of the planet and just have you there.
To prove that your fucking point's bullshit. After all the shit you've given me, Ben. Yes!
And you get to the end and you'd be like, thank God that idea's dead. But you're actually thinking of the idea.
Yeah, so you're going to shoot yourself in the head.
Oh, fuck.
I'll do it. If I'm the last one, I'm the last human alive, and I'm like, shit, I can't stop thinking about it. I'm not giving dead Ben the satisfaction. Boom.
So in this particular...
No, I'm just taking a piss.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
Fucking awesome line.
It's a great
awesome.
line.
Yeah.
And V then throttles him, lifts him up, and he's pretty shot up at this point. Yeah. Although he is wearing body armour, as we do see.
Which looks wonderfully homemade.
It does, doesn't it? It looks
like a knight's...
It looks... I couldn't figure out when he dropped it if it was actually like... I mean, I watched it a couple of times. I couldn't figure out if it was like a really homemade Kevlar... breastplate or something he got off a stove and it was just steel, a very thick piece of steel or something.
It looked to me like a knight's armour.
Yeah, like a breastplate.
Yeah, it looked
just steel. Really.
Maybe he's the type of guy though who's that badass. He would fashion a modern working bulletproof vest that just looked like a Victorian,
Because the thing is,
very
to fit in with the V time period, they used to wear them very prominent steel breastplates.
I'm saying Victorian, I don't fucking mean Victorian.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know.
Edwardian
you know the old conquistador sort of steel hat, steel breastplate. That's probably the look he's going for with that. But yeah, it is. It is
shot to fuck.
It's bulletproof, isn't it? It's shot to fuck. But
do you notice where he leans on the wall and his bloodstain leaves a V?
Yes.
It's a V shape.
A lot of V's in this film. A lot of V's. And he makes it back to the train. He is literally riddled with bullets. He is fucked. There's blood coming. I think, did you see blood come out of the...
I'm not sure.
I don't think you do, actually.
Yeah. That'd have been cool if you did, though. Yeah.
And he does tell Evie that he loves her. She's at the train.
Yeah.
And that's where you get the greatest gift, is that you told me that back. And at this point, though, you've got civilians coming through Trafalgar Square, marching on Parliament. I mean, there's a horde of people.
He asked them to be there a year ago.
He asked them to be there, and they're all there. They're all wearing his outfit. V gets laid in state in the train with the roses and his...
she does a good job of that in a short space of time.
She does.
She does.
With no for a diminutive size,
yeah. She drags a reasonably muscled man in and lays him in state and
fair play.
Never has a peek under his mask.
I bet you
I
did.
would. I would.
bet
Wouldn't you?
Did,
Wouldn't you?
It looks like his hands. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Looks like somebody set his face on fire and put it out with a fucking screwdriver.
He looked at his cock as well.
Balls are missing, yeah. Maybe, who knows? Looks like literally someone set his face on fire and put it out with a golf shoe. That's what it looks like.
Do you reckon his genitals were burnt off?
Oh, maybe, but he does have feelings for us, so that ingests some kind of...
Yeah, but Ben,
Genital
some
motivation.
feelings originate from above the waist. I know that's hard
No, they
to
don't.
imagine.
No, they don't.
Love.
Liar. Liar.
That's why it's
It
called.
all starts with
You
that
should
original tingle of the balls.
Try it sometime.
It all starts with the original tingle of the balls, and then it progresses to a chemical...
Tingling your balls then when you say you love your mum.
You need to take the
No, because I don't say that.
Ben, you need to take the elastic band off.
Look,
It shouldn't be
every
tingling.
single
That would be
relationship,
blue balls, wouldn't it?
every single relationship starts with lust,
Yeah.
and then it progresses to that chemical infatuation known as love.
Yep.
So there you go.
And it's sweet.
Not saying a word.
What do you want me to say? You're not going to try and like make a case for love being a shit thing.
Your balls is in the system.
Love
We
is
write Valentine's Day cards next.
Love
You're a
is going-
corporate stooge.
Love is going in the reggae box.
You'll be buying Valentine's Day cards
I
next.
did get a Valentine's
There you
Day
go. You
card.
bought into the system.
I bought two, one for the kids to write for as well.
Oh.
Yep.
Why would you give your missus the choice of another lover coming in, even if badly written by her children?
Well, it's not though, is it? What?
She might-
No, it's not.
What
She-
kind of a question was that?
She might think she's got another admirer. Who knows?
Are you suggesting my girlfriend's a fucking moron?
No. You see, she's getting
Why
two
would
Valentine's
she be
cards.
confused about who the
Why
other
is she-
card's from?
Why should she get one for her kids?
Because that's just what kids do. They
Is
like
it?
to give their mum one, yes.
You want to rephrase that?
This mum's relationship. When he gets tingly balls.
No, because I don't tell my parents I love them anymore. I'm 30 fucking 5 and I have to say that.
It's gone past that. They don't kiss as fuck.
Oh man, harsh. Harsh.
You said it.
I said, yeah, you
said the
get
only love comes from tingling your balls. Did you not say that?
I did, but I was referring to relationships and not family.
Well, that's why I was pointing the flaw in
Maybe,
your argument.
well, maybe there's something going on with you that we don't know about.
Well, me and your mum, everyone knows about that.
Oh, you still owe me money for that.
You said it was on the house.
Yeah, I lied.
No.
Oh, that escalated quickly.
Let's go into the film.
No, it's your turn in the barrel, Ben.
I'm going to the barrel. I'm saying that all I was saying that every relationship starts off with that initial lust, and then you end up with the. So V
I'm
must.
trying to justify fucking your
so
mum.
then.
If I were you, I'd move on and stop digging that hole deep.
Well, whatever. Oh,
Eat a puss, eat a puss, eat a puss. So, no.
I haven't seen your dad in a while.
Let's get back to that.
Can we take a break, actually?
yeah.
I think it's a good break.
Let's get excited.
Yeah. Alright, so back to it then. And so Finch finds Evie as she's kind of looking down at V and he's laid in state in his fertilizer-filled firework explosive train. He says to her, don't. Step away from the lever. And she says no, but she doesn't pull it straight away, does she? She says what the country needs now, what this country needs more than a building right now, it needs hope. Finch lowers his gun. And the troops, at this point, have got no leadership whatsoever because you think that Sutler's gone, Creed is gone, all the high-ranking party members are gone or in hiding. They're getting no orders, and the generals, the officers, tell them just to stand down. And also, let's face it, no general wants, even in Britain in these days, wants civilian deaths on their hands because you know that there's a lot more of them than there's a you. And eventually those guns, all them guns you've got, yeah, it ain't gonna make any difference if you've got half the population of London marching on you.
Yeah, well, that's very
Yeah.
true. He knows.
So and also you suspect that maybe the army doesn't like what's going on, there's meant to be some general, officers there like, I'm part of this, but I don't really like it. I'm not telling my men to open fire on their families. Effectively, is what you're kind of saying, really, isn't it? I mean,
you've got no choice in the matter, really. They might be wearing costumes or whatever. They're civilians.
Yeah.
They know that. The soldiers know that.
When we had the recent spate of terror attacks and the soldiers were deployed in the streets, I was speaking to a friend of mine, and they fucking hated it. They hated being on the streets because they didn't see that as their job. It's not their job to shoot people on the streets.
It's to do it in desert towns.
To do it in desert towns and various other places. But it's not their job to be on the streets policing the country.
No.
And they didn't like it.
Drastically wrong.
What they had to do because the police force had been cut.
Of course. And so Evie then starts the train. And you see the flood of people heading across Parliament Square, which I think is actually quite close to Parliament, considering it's a bit to go to hell. Parliament Square is not that far away from Parliament. You and I have been there, Mike. It's
on our anti-austerity march.
couple of hundred meters away. Probably not enough for the explosion that he's got planned here. Yeah. And it was like, it was the 1812 overture kicks off again. I don't know if that's being played with the speakers or not, or is just a soundtrack for the film. I don't know. But I found this scene incredibly satisfying.
Yeah.
Watching Parliament go up.
In bits.
It
was awesome.
It's a nice fireworks display. The rockets went into the V shape.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I mean, I don't think I'm doing it justice really by describing it. I mean, you've got to go and see it. Imagine if you're American, imagine watching the White House go up like that.
Well, they've seen it in what's the movie? Independence Day.
Yeah, but not by an anarchy-fueled fireworks display.
Aliens, But
Aliens?
my point is,
Aliens, illegal aliens.
Same thing. They've seen the visual.
Yeah, but is it? Would you rather have your house of government destroyed by A, aliens, or B, massively impressive explosive fireworks display?
My point is, they've got a visual alternative to this. Because, it's an alien that blows it up in Independence Day, but you still get an awesome model shot.
Yeah, let's not forget that helicopter full of Secret Service guys who tragically perished in that moment.
Thank you for your service. But yeah.
That's not a mockery then. Doing the job, man. Doing the job.
No, I'm just saying, that's what you say, isn't it? When a government person,
That's what Trump likes to say. Thanks for the service.
Thank you for your service.
It's an incredibly metal Viking burial.
No, he likes to say thank you for the blowjob, Miss Daniels.
Yeah, allegedly.
Maybe.
Sorry. Yeah, he's laying in state. He's gone on a train. It's blown up Parliament. It's a great Viking funeral. That's how I want to go.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And then the end shot of the film.
I can't guarantee that I could arrange for it to happen just like V, but I could definitely just dump your dead body on a train.
Just leave you there.
On a train to Stoke or something. It's what he wanted.
Am I laid out with roses and surrounded by fertiliser and explosives?
Nah.
Just tramp piss.
Oh man, that's not the same.
Soaked in tramp piss. Thrown on a train to Stoke.
It's the best I could do.
And Stoke's not even somewhere I want to go alive. I'm dead.
Duck.
I played poker in Stoke.
Is that where you won you were the second best poker player in Shropshire?
It was Shropshire, West Midlands, and North Wales.
Oh, I do apologise.
Yeah.
Second best poker player in Shropshire, the West Midlands, and North Wales. There you go.
You obviously weren't playing for money then, Mike.
Yeah, I did. I won 300 quid.
Oh, yeah.
We won't tell the benefits officer with that, will we?
When you say best poker player in Shropshire, my mind goes to like high rolling, do you know what I mean? Casinos.
Amateur poker player. Pub poker.
Oh, okay.
It's only pub poker. But for a tenner,
Fair play.
tenner really win 300, it ain't bad, is it?
No, it's
Tax free.
I don't know how to play poker.
The benefits office won't know about that, will they?
Tax free?
Yeah, well.
I think Blair made it tax free.
I bet they'll cut your benefits for it.
If they knew.
Anyway, the end shot of the film was all the people removing their masks and hoods and their people we've seen throughout the film dead as well. Stephen Fry's there, the actress is there.
That little girl.
And it's also sort of just putting this, V can be anybody. And she says, well, who was he? Finn says, who was he? And she says, well, he was He was my father. He reels off all these names. He's anybody we want him to be. He's the guy that's
my sister, yeah.
He's the guy that stood up, and we don't need to know his name. He is all the people who stood up and spoke out against this regime.
Yeah.
And that is the end of the film. And we end up with the Rolling Stones. Great film.
Yeah. And so this first time I've watched it in a long time, and I was struck how pertinent it was to today's, both in America and here, political climate.
Yeah.
Not that I'm the biggest, I'm not the politics correspondent of the show, but all the Antifa stuff,
all the anti-capitalism stuff.
Yeah, well, all the rioting in the streets, everybody, Antifa, the alt-right.
It's not quite. I wouldn't quite call it rioting in the streets. I'd call it.
There's been a lot of rioting in the streets, though. Well, you call it protest, but like, why just smash up a local business?
Well, I don't agree with that. Yeah, that is right.
There's been a lot of that
there has
all
been
over the
that,
world.
yeah.
A lot of violence in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that normally happens though when you come up against armed police and soldiers.
But my point is, it just reminded me a lot of all the footage and the montage it shows.
Completely.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not.
The mask itself has been adopted.
Who's that?
I'm just getting a phone call on Facebook on YouTube.
Hey, that bragged me the fuck. But my phone's not here, so it wasn't me. Hey. Yeah, and then you've got the whole Brexit thing happening and the rise of fascism all around the world.
Nigel fucking Farage.
Which I'm interested to know what you think. This isn't a criticism of the film, from my opinion. This is a quote from Alan Moore, who I'm sure we probably said in part one, wrote the original comic book. This is all his original idea, the character, all of this. And he wanted nothing
he
to
and
do...
the chap, I'll tell you his name in a second.
The artist. But he refuses any monies.
David Lloyd.
So he didn't want his name on it, based on reading the script long before the movie went into production. And this is his quote. What had originally been a straightforward battle of ideas between anarchy and fascism had been turned into a kind of ham-fisted parable of 9/11 and the war against terror, in which the words anarchy and fascism appear nowhere. It struck me that for Hollywood to make V for Vendetta, it was a way for thwarted and impotent American liberals to feel that they were making some kind of statement about how pissed off they were with the current situation, without really risking anything. It's all set in England, which I think that probably, in most American eyes, is a kind of a fairy tale kingdom where we perhaps still have giants. It doesn't really exist. It might as well be in the land of Oz for most Americans. So you can set your political parable in this fantasy environment called England, and then you can vent your spleen against George Bush and the neoconservatives. Those were my feelings. And I must admit those are completely based upon not having seen the film even once, but having read a certain amount of the screenplay. That was enough. So I think, and from what I've read in another interview with him, his original comic book was fascism versus anarchy.
Yeah.
Whereas he's saying that this is more about neoconservative
versus social democracy.
Versus, that kind of an argument. Where I think he's saying there's something even more fundamental than that. But when he puts it in those terms, and you think about it being, and this isn't me criticising it, I'm not, but the year it was made, 2004, released in 2005, what was going on politically with George Bush and everything then, and you can see that this is, and the references to the visual references to Guantanamo Bay, and
they mention Iraq and Syria, Prothero's service record and things like that,
and it's American. And I'm trying to remember in the comic book, but in the movie, the virus thing is made for the movie. That's not in the book, is it? It's American Civil War.
That's right. The war they started. And Prothero alludes to that, so he's just going to give the comic book a nod. It's the war they started.
Yeah.
And now they've dissolved into anarchy themselves, and we had to become a strong, religious, Christian, right-wing nation to survive, and it's all about England prevails and all that, and God, Farage would be creaming himself over that if that happened.
He would.
Well, here's another little quote from him that I thought you might like, Mike, because this is your sort of thing, because although he wrote the story of V using violence in the fictional story his own political... This is Alan Moore again. I don't believe that a violent revolution is ever going to work, simply on the grounds that it never has in the past. I mean, speaking as a resident of Northampton, during the English Civil War we backed Cromwell and provided all the boots for his army, and we were a centre of anti-royalist sentiment. Incidentally, we provided all the boots to the Confederates as well. So obviously we know how to pick a winner. Cromwell's revolution? I guess it succeeded. The king was beheaded, which was quite early in the day for beheading amongst the European monarchy. I think we can claim to have kicked off that trend. But give it another 10 years, as it turned out, Cromwell himself was a monster. He was every bit the monster that Charles I had been. In some ways, he was worse.
You banned Christmas and dancing.
Well, there you go. So, he's all for peaceful revolution with ideas and education.
It is the only things that have ever worked. Yeah.
The only... I will slightly disagree with him on the first quote, because I think, well, yes, he wrote that at the time as a bit of Thatcherism and anarchy, but I think that if you're going to portray mediums... I'm going to sound like I'm fucking an art student now. If you're going to portray a medium and the message, you have to update that message.
I get, yeah.
He's saying, so, yes, he's almost saying, though, they're crying liberal tears over Bush. But no, you've got to bring, this is where it could go.
Yeah, but he's saying that fascism and anarchy are not just some kind of trend. They're political.
Yeah, and it's still anarchy. It's still, he's inciting the civilians to unrest, but it's just you've got to bring it to a point. Because if you'd have put that film in the 80s and he was rebelling against Thatcher, no one would have got it in 2005. You've got to bring it up to speed. He's actually taken his name off a lot of his stuff. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
That's what started it. He saw that and went, "Fuck this." Yeah. Hollywood
bit of a drunken pleasure for me. That actually.
It's a guilty pleasure.
I didn't like it.
I'm not saying it's a fantastic film, but
we were on about his other notable works. So, From Hell, you were right. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Swamp Thing.
Really, Swamp Thing.
He kind of brought Swamp Thing back, and
I remember the animated series when we were kids.
He did. Apparently, I've never read it, but apparently his Swamp Thing is a really quite deep, beautiful.
As I would expect.
Book. Yeah. The Ballad of Halo Jones, which is a 2000 AD thing. There's some that I've not heard of, to be honest. Voice of the Fire, Watchmen, Superman.
Watchmen, of course.
Yeah. Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, and let's not just wash over that. Watchmen is considered, I guess, the seminal work in comic books.
Yeah.
If not the, definitely one of, as like what you can do with that medium. And
absolutely. You set it against, once again, set it against an 80s backdrop, but in the not too distant future, because it's set in the 80s, but Nixon's had.
Yeah.
Is he got third term now or something
like that?
And yeah, I mean, that's a future film episode, to be fair, Watchmen.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Who watches the Watchmen? And we were saying just before that, we were talking about anarchy and fascism, and here's back to Mr. Moore himself on that subject. I was talking earlier about anarchy and fascism being the two poles of politics. On one hand, you've got fascism, with the bound bundle of twigs. That's their symbol, isn't it? And in masonry.
Oh, because it's all together we're stronger. Kind of. Yeah. If you take one twig and stab against your knee, that's easy. If you take 50 tied up, then it's.
Well, that's what he says.
You can't do it.
The idea that in unity and uniformity there is strength. On the other hand, you have anarchy, which is completely determined by the individual, and where the individual determines his or her own life. Now, if you move that into the spiritual domain, then in religion, I find very much the spiritual equivalent of fascism. The word religion comes from the root word ligare, which is the same root word as ligature and ligament, and basically means bound together in one belief. It's basically the same as the idea behind fascism. There's not even necessarily a spiritual component to it. Everything from the Republican Party to the Girl Guides could be seen as a religion, in that they are bound together in one belief. So to me, like I said, religion becomes very much the spiritual equivalent of fascism.
Yeah, well, I like that.
Yeah.
All for that.
I love everything this guy says, to be honest. He's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he is. And he's a wizard.
He loves magic too. Yeah, so yeah.
Awesome.
What are we saying? Fascism, anarchy. So
Polar opposites.
because he identifies himself as an anarchist,
I haven't written some of that stuff. You can full well see why.
and I used to, and I fully admit I didn't really understand what it meant, but I went through a heavy Sex Pistols phase at around age 17 to about 18. I always loved them, but there was a heavy phase where I was obsessed with them, and Anarchy and like the symbolism of it, and that one album. I didn't really ever truly think I know what it actually would mean, because to me it's one of them things that sounds, I suppose it's how you define it. If you're an anarchist by simply following your own rules in a way, but he still follows society's rules to an extent.
Everyone has to a point.
Yeah.
We don't go raping and murdering,
Exactly,
do we? I mean,
to go on, you know, to even, you know, I'm sure he goes on the bus and follows the protocol and, you know, social norms sometimes when he comes out of his cave house.
His cave house.
From his spells.
From his...
In Northampton.
From his castle.
Yeah, his castle.
He's got a haunted castle on the hill, hasn't he?
Definitely.
If he hasn't, I'm disappointed.
And the trouble is, we've got that sort of propaganda about what anarchy is.
So that's what
everyone believes anarchy is just a state of chaos.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what
we saw a few.
That's what you think, isn't it?
Yeah,
you
think of no rules, no.
And we saw a few of them at the demonstrations we've been on. We had that one guy who turned up. I always remember we were stood in Parliament Square, and he was stood on a statue. I forget which one it was. And he was dressed in full combat gear with a gas mask on, letting off a smoke bomb. And you're like, yeah, that bloke's probably more of an anarchist than the rest of us who are just here to kind of. He's professional. He's got like all the kit and everything, and we're here. You know, so. That's the difference in your casual protester and your guy that turns up every week and lets have smoke grenades.
I think it's more than that. I think it's a belief that
it's
a belief that the individual can't be and shouldn't be ruled, and they should be free to do what they want to do.
That's based. You kind of bang on what he. There's a nice little quote here from him again. He says, "After all, when you mention the idea of anarchy to most people, they will tell you what a bad idea it is because the biggest gang would just take over." Which is pretty much how I see contemporary society.
Yeah, it's right.
We live in a badly developed anarchist situation in which the biggest gang has taken over and have declared that it is not an anarchist situation, that it is a capitalist or a communist situation. But I tend to think that anarchy is the most natural form of politics for a human being to actually practice. All it means, the word, is no leaders. Not an-archon, no leaders. And I think that if we actually look at our nature without prejudice, we find that this is the state of affairs that usually pertains.
Yeah, well, yeah, the biggest gang takes charge. You get the most votes, you're the biggest gang, aren't you?
Like what George Carlin said. He said that people individually are perfect. He says you can see the universe in their eyes. You can see the universe in their eyes. He says when they start to group together, he said that's when the problems start.
Yeah.
So they give up. They give over their sort of.
We're pack animals at the end of the day. We are. We always want to belong to a tribe, and that comes in a football. You know,
I think it's in Expendables 2, isn't it? Where the lone wolf, Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
He turns up at the end and they say, "Hey, I thought you were the lone wolf," and he says, "Sometimes it's fun to run with the pack."
I fucking love that movie. You know, Expendables 2.
But you know,
it's such a.
Sometimes it is fun to run with the pack.
I'm going to put it out there. Perfect action movie.
It's amazing.
You've got everything. You've got the revenge. You've got the gunfights.
You've got Schwarzenegger saying other people's catchphrases.
Exactly.
People saying Schwarzenegger's catchphrases. It's like a catchphraise dick competition.
It's like they knew exactly what they were going to do.
My catchphrase is bigger than yours. No, it's not.
It's fantastic. And you know.
It's wonderful.
And they allude to other films. You know, Van Damme does a roundhouse kickboxer thing.
He kicks a knife into somebody's chest.
He does!
He
does! What would you want in a film?
He kicks a knife into another man's chest.
And then Jason Statham plays a priest.
Who throws knives.
Who throws knives. Just, I now pronounce you man and knife. And then throws a knife at someone's neck. What more do you want in a film?
It's wonderful.
And then he's swinging that incense thing around like
he uses that as a weapon.
Cracking people in the skull with that. It's fantastic.
Magnificent. I don't have enough adjectives to describe.
No, I don't.
It's
my own vocabulary is it's just not strong enough.
It's a pinnacle of cinematic achievement.
It is one of the perfect action movies out there.
Action movie? Movie?
well, alright, fair enough, yeah. I'll probably agree with that. It's better than Casablanca.
That'd be Mike's hell. Like,
Me and Gaz pick the
in
films
a
for
chocolate
night.
orange, clockwork orange. Sorry,
Chocolate orange. Mike's been kidnapped by Nestle and made to eat chocolate oranges over and over again. That's that film.
And you have to come and rescue me? Why?
I was thinking.
Me and Gaz blow away the walls.
Get the fuck
Shotguns
out,
go.
I'm one of these.
I don't want to be rescued. We're here to save your life, man. We've had 10 years planning.
20 years
practicing,
planning.
drilling with our guns.
Yeah.
20 years plan, I've lost both my legs to diabetes, you bastards.
Within 2 minutes, I look quick.
His skin's turned to like orange foil.
He's
got big blue
he's
sticker on
literally
his
grown
head.
an orange skin over his own skin. he's more orange than man at this point.
And if we like punch him on the top of the head or just tap him on the top of the head, he splits into segments. Oh no, what have we done?
Each more powerful than the last, and that's how we get out. Oh, that's right itself.
See that would happen with Trump?
If I tapped Donald Trump on the head, we split into 8 segments.
And if you tap him on
Yes,
the
I
head, you'll
think he
get
would.
bit by that nondescript small mammal that he calls hair.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Get him, boy.
It's almost like your Ravage fantasy.
Ravage.
And what is the animal on top of Trump's head called? Give us a suggestion,
a trumpet.
listener. What would he
I don't
call
know.
it?
A chumpangaladon.
Anarchy.
He'd probably call it dollar or something like that. He does love a dollar.
It's probably some really old-fashioned American sort of name.
Good
Probably
point.
Donald.
Yeah, it's called
He hasn't
Donald.
got the
Probably
greatest
Donald.
imagination, has he?
No, that's true. Yeah.
Donald 1, Donald 2, Donald 1, Donald 2.
He has to remind himself of that before he goes out.
Yeah.
He's been quite quiet actually, only Big D.
Who?
Donny.
Oh, Donny.
Donny's been quite
Tiny Hands
quiet.
Donny.
Tiny Hands Donny's been quite quiet recently.
Donny, baby. The Don 1.
The orange murder clone.
Well,
Nick 99, an orange murder clown.
as described earlier, though, he's plotting to encourage us to go and start a fight with Russia.
Yeah.
So he's sitting back quietly while we all worry about nerve agents and.
I'm not worried about nerve agents.
I saw a thing on my Facebook that said Trump's passport was found at the scene. Not Trump, Putin's.
Oh yeah, of course. Was that Rochdale Herald or something like that?
I'm not sure, but I saw it, so it was real. It's like the Arabs' passports that fell
Oh, they were
from
fantastic.
the 9/11.
Oh,
That's just incredible.
Just
You know-
happened to be
you know-
there on the.
the worst thing is because one day we've got to do
teeth.
We're gonna have to do a 9/11 episode. And we've got to try and make it.
That's the
we've
day
gotta
after he gets cut.
Yeah, we've got to make a joke. We've got to try and crack jokes during a 9/11
I
episode.
don't think we're going to. I think that might be a somber one. Plus, I don't know. We just won't talk about the people. As long as you don't. I listen to a lot of true crime ones that are
Yeah,
comedies,
that's true.
and they always
Yeah.
say like, look, we don't laugh at the victims or the victims' families, but the inept cops surrounding it
Yeah.
and the actual murderers a fair game. So I guess when we do 9/11, we could take the piss
We'll
out of
just-
the government and their ridiculously
And we'll mock the hijackers, of
and the
course.
hijackers, but I guess yeah. Anyway, back to this one. What are we on about?
Whenever have we never approached something with a sensitivity?
Every time Ben speaks.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah.
Should we wrap up a V with a bit of hearing from Alan Moore himself, Mike?
And we've got to do some the symbology of it. There's some great symbolism in this film as well. The mask, for one.
Yeah, well, we can hear a nice little feature about the mask.
Oh, go on then. Yes.
It's quite interesting.
Well, let Alan Moore tell the tale.
Yeah.
Will be better still because.
If you've never heard him talk, you've got to look this guy up, man. He's an amazing writer and a fucking awesome dude, man. Like, it's so interesting. He really believes his magic stuff.
He wants to be Merlin, doesn't he?
He probably is.
He possibly is. Yeah.
He's awesome. So yeah, let's see what he says about the old V.
Yep. Let's do that.
You won't recognise this man unless you read comics. That industry is still underground, at the cultural margins. But to the numerous, if predominantly male aficionados, Alan Moore is a god who revolutionised the art form.
I suppose that the main drive is to find the edge of something and then throw myself over it.
From Hell, Watchmen, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen are all vintage Moore. So many of his comics have been turned into films that his impact on popular culture is disproportionate to his fame. And V for Vendetta, his nightmare vision of Britain under a dictatorship, has spawned something else too.
It was you who appointed these people, you who gave them the power to make your decisions for you.
That Guy Fawkes mask, worn by the book's anti-hero V, has been an inescapable presence at the anti-capitalist protests around the world. A face in the crowd, from Wall Street to Tokyo, via Mexico, Argentina and Seoul, adding an element of anonymity and performance to the Occupy protest movement. So what does the man behind the mask think? Channel 4 News took Alan Moore to meet the demonstrators for the first time. He was led round the St Paul's Cathedral camp by one of the Occupy crew.
I mean, the reason I haven't been down before is because I didn't want to make too much of a thing of the V masks and stuff like that. I mean, I've admired you from afar.
Within minutes, he's face to face with his creation.
It's a bit surprising when some of your characters who you thought you'd made up suddenly seem to escape into ordinary reality. I mean, what is it about the mask that is it just useful or what?
The whole character is very relevant to what we're doing at the moment, because we're going against a system which we feel is corrupt, so we're doing the same kind of thing as what happened in the movie.
Alan Moore is too genuinely friendly to take issue with that mention of the movie, but he hates the way his work's been misappropriated as he sees it.
If you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror.
He never wanted films made, took his name off the credits, and refuses the presumably pretty hefty fees to which he's entitled.
Fairness, justice, and freedom are more than words. They are perspectives.
Time Warner profits every time a V-mask is bought. For many, that encompasses the contradiction of the iPod-using, Starbucks-drinking anti-capitalist movement. Moore, though, is amused by what he claims is the company's embarrassment at the association. For V is a nameless, faceless agitator who uses violence and wit to bring down a fascist government. Alan Moore is a self-proclaimed anarchist. Don't expect him to criticise these protesters. What do you think of it?
Well, I'm amazed, I'm very impressed, and I'm rather touched. The people here are amazing. I think that this is probably the best organised and most forward-thinking protest that I've ever had experience of.
That attitude to global protest isn't shared by one of the dominant figures in the American comics industry. Frank Miller, the writer behind Sin City and Batman The Dark Knight Returns, called Occupy Wall Street a pack of louts, thieves and rapists. Nonsense, says Moore.
If there's something in the world happening that you don't agree with, protest against it. If there's something that you wish existed in the world, then work towards realising it.
The US comic tradition is of superheroes who save the world and embody American values. That's not Alan Moore's worldview.
The one place gods inarguably exist is in our minds, where they are real beyond refute, in all their grandeur and monstrosity.
His work often explores spiritual and philosophical ideas. Rebellion is what drives British comic writing, he says.
This goes right the way down to people like Leo Baxendale's Bash Street Kids. On a simple innocuous level like that, Dennis the Menace. There is a strong strand of anarchy that runs through nearly all of the important characters in British culture. I think that America is perhaps a more God-fearing and authority-fearing culture.
Those anti-establishment Wall Street demonstrators, though, have Alan Moore fired up. Perhaps optimistically, he compares the people behind the global protests to a tidal wave.
I don't think that they are the cause of the wave. They are simply the medium that the wave is moving through. A tidal wave cannot be said to have succeeded or failed. all that it can be said to have done is to have changed things, often monumentally.
It may sound like exaggeration or the start of a comic, but then Alan Moore isn't just a comic writer, but a spiritualist, a performance artist, even a magician, and to his many fans, an anarchic visionary.
What a guy.
Yeah.
I did really liked what he said about in British comics, even from something like the Bash Street Kids.
Absolutely.
Which for any American listener is a children's comic.
It's the Beano.
Yeah, from the Beano, and they are anarchic and rebellious.
Yeah. And Dennis the Menace, I mean,
yeah.
you know, he...
Outsiders, which I suppose is a very British, we'd like to think, wouldn't we? But yeah, I like that little quote from him, and I like that he was touched. And I think I've said it on the cast before, I admired what they did with the Occupy movement, but my stance on it was always a cynical one, but I think...
It's not going to achieve anything.
Yeah. As nice as it is, as good on you guys as it is, you're trying to use peaceful sitting down and inconvenience to stop the giant immovable cogs of global capitalism, which, you know, and I always think of it in this like visual in my mind, a bit like a comic book of they're right down there on the street. Imagine being up on floor number, I don't know, 400 and whatever, in the suit, looking down at the ants.
Having just made $3 million that morning for your own pocket and thinking, you know what, might buy myself a Lamborghini.
Yeah, as the sunset's coming down.
But imagine if it was all the people doing that. That's a different scenario. If you perhaps joined them protesters and other people had done the same, me, myself, Ben, others.
It's romantic though, and I agree with that.
Then we may have got change.
But I knew that wouldn't happen because I know what people are like.
That's the only way change ever happened.
Me and Gaz, we just spent 3 weeks off work, losing money, and nothing would change.
That's the only way change has ever happened.
Exactly.
So
it was, but we can't afford it. Sadly, we're so indebted to the system, that we can't afford to have 3 weeks off work.
No, it's the only way it's ever happened.
I know that, but I've still got to live.
And it would be nice to turn up in a V mask and do
great.
all that, but real life.
You're saying it can't happen. I'm saying it's the only way it's ever happened.
And I'm just saying, and I agree with you, but I also agree. As soon as that whole Occupy thing happened, I was, because at the time I was engaged to that girl. I mentioned it last episode. I'm not obsessed, I swear. But the fact is, she lived in a hippified, the most hippified environment I'd ever been in. You know, a nice village in Somerset.
Somerset.
Yeah, and very close to Glastonbury, and I met her at Glastonbury. Anyway, I was the only one who, everyone there thought the Occupy thing was literally just amazing, like we're emotional about it, yeah, it's so good, and I was the only one with the cynical view of, yes, it's lovely, I see why you all think that, but I'm telling you, it will achieve nothing.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Precisely nothing.
I genuinely am,
I wish it did achieve something.
But it has achieved something.
But what though, really?
Well, it's achieved awakening people.
To a point.
Other people then get inspired by that, and the Million Mass March grows every year, doesn't it?
I'm going to be totally honest. What's that?
You've not heard of it?
It's every 5th of November, the masks.
I thought it was a one-time thing.
It's for the film, isn't it? The 5th of November.
Oh, right.
And I like the way in that clip that the guy mentioned the film, and me and Gaz both raised our eyebrows at each other at that point and went, "Oh, we ain't gonna be like you. Al ain't gonna like that." As I said before, graceful. You've got to update the message, haven't you?
Of course.
Yeah.
So yes, they wouldn't be out there on the streets occupying Wall Street living in tents if that film was about Thatcherism and anarchy.
I don't think it was the film.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He says the film. Like the guy in the clip. The film.
I think what Mike's saying is, I don't think it was the film or the book.
No,
a small percentage of people in that protest saw that film and know that. But I think the mass majority of them just know that's the mask.
Yes, I know.
That's become the symbol.
When that guy said the film, he went. Ugh.
It was the banking crash that caused it.
Yeah, of course.
It's literally. Hey, hang on. Sorry to interrupt like that. That was quite rude. But you know, remember we talked about Slenderman? What a meme actually was, where the word came from. Richard Dawkins. It's an idea that spreads like a gene. Mm-hmm. So in that crowd, that mask is literally a meme that spread. People might not have seen the movie, but they know if you go to this type of protest for these ideas against those things, you wear that mask, and it spread mimetic. Yeah. So
the problem the Occupy movement failed was because they had no set goals. It was just to disrupt and it didn't go anywhere.
So were they pushing stockbrokers into hedges, that kind of thing? Or
Were they?
just, I don't know, were they? Or were they just camping outside? I mean,
Camping outside trying to
block the road.
block the
And,
cogs, like you say, of capitalism. But
Trying to inconvenience.
but if enough people,
I know
Yeah.
theoretically, yes.
that's how it's
but-
always happened.
But the reality is, though, you just said that. How can people like me and Ben,
we're work slaves to the machine.
yeah, who
we
don't,
are.
if they didn't work for 3 weeks, wouldn't be able to pay the rent, and things would just start snowballing, and it would be catastrophic because they live paycheck to paycheck, which is a massive percentage of society.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with
Just
you, mate,
literally can't practically, and as much as they might like to,
Yeah,
can't practically.
I can give them a
afford-
Saturday.
Who says it has to be for 3 weeks? It can be over in a
Well,
couple of days.
you know what I mean?
Storming
Well-
of the Bastille and all that. And
Yeah, but we're not. They had guns.
But what happens to my
well, I'm
job
saying
then?
a peaceful revolution.
Will society still be? But what happens to my job the next day? Will I still have deliveries to do? Because I still need to pay the rent.
Yeah. All the landlords
It's
are
one of
stop.
them, isn't it?
Overnight, the
That's
landlords.
why you've got to have things in place, you see.
Mm.
That's why you have political parties. Because they have the things in place to take over.
But that's anarchy then.
No, it's not anarchy.
That's who's got the biggest club again, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're going to come back to who's got the biggest gang.
Well, I'm going to join the club that feeds me and protects me. Whatever club that is.
So basically, our entire society, I think the basic we can take from this, from our conclusions, is that society is effectively flawed because the biggest gang is always going to be in charge, regardless of whether you agree with that or not.
That's what Alan said. It's
And-
a broken.
Yeah, and we
situation.
all have to. I mean, me and Gaz have to go to work to pay the rent.
That's-
I mean, so therefore we can't take days off work to go and protest because we're slaves to the system. A day's pay, well, that's still a
Not
big
a
chunk
slave,
of the other
man.
one. Couldn't do it. I can go on a Saturday if it's going on then. I can do a Saturday, but
Yeah, but say we get in, a government takes over. Right, first thing we're going to do, we're going to make the banks public.
yeah, but someone's got to get in
Yeah.
to do that in the first place. But because the majority of people are brainwashed already, they've got to get in first. And we can't protest against it because we're all slaves to the
Well,
system.
that's the job of the political parties is to persuade people, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the conclusion of our movie review is we're fucked as a society.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Society's screwed, no matter who.
Wonderful.
No matter whether you agree with the current biggest gang who's in or not, they're in for a bit until you get a bigger gang.
We need them to give us things that we need.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, that's great. V is a great film, it's a great comic book. The November the 6th, what the fuck happens?
Yeah. Do you go to work? Where'd you get
Because
your money from? Do you have to fight a bloke?
If I still go to work on November 6th, because who's going to be ordering stationery products
Well, just
that day after?
Just because we ourselves lack the imagination doesn't mean.
Well, I know that, but we're doing it in a practical sense here. I mean,
Literally, is my missus going to have to send me to the local co-op to fist fight for a loaf of bread?
Yeah,
Because
the
money
entire
means
country
nothing.
has just
Yeah.
fell apart.
We overthrew the government, then what did we get?
So I'm assuming that scenario, though, the military would take over.
No, fuck me.
Well,
even
there you
worse
go,
then.
then I've got to go.
But what you've got to look at then is, will the military give over to? Will they obey the constitution?
They will ration cream eggs,
And
I
then-
know that much.
And then go say, well, okay, we're going to have free and democratic elections, or will you just go, you know what, this country be better under? Some general just goes, you know what, this country be better under me.
It happens in other countries.
Exactly, and that's the point because he's got the power. So you end up with you're back to
maybe
square one, aren't you?
we
You've
need
had your
a big-
evolution. You're back to square one.
What would you do if we did have a real life V type fella who would come on the telly and was like, listen, I'm going to go and blow him up and you need to come with me, and then I'd probably be against him.
Well, I
I've
would
got to
be.
be honest. I'd be like, hang on,
Well,
mate.
It's 'cause he's
Mate, don't fuck society completely.
I might go. I agree with what he's saying, but I guarantee I wouldn't have showed up in London on that night.
This would be an awesome comic book.
I'd have been sat there in my mask and my
Yeah.
hood and my costume,
Oh,
watching it on
me
the
too.
telly,
Me
having
too.
a beer.
Go on, lads.
Go on, lads. Go on.
That's the British spirit. Look at him, go on.
Oh, they're firing on the crowd. Oh, that's not so good.
Oh.
Ooh, better take this mask off.
Yeah. Better burn this.
For that photo, that portrait of the Chancellor Clocksmith with its fucking camera eyes.
And then just turns into lasers and
Yeah,
melting.
yeah. Yeah.
Then your family come in and find you like with a melted
It's
head.
just a pile of ash on the sofa.
No, your body's still there, but it's like a melted lump.
Oh,
of,
it's like like do the Joker
plasma.
zaps with his hand in the first Batman movie.
Oh, just a lump
A
of
charred
plasma at the top of
skeleton,
your
yeah,
neck.
and a melted V mask onto your skull that they can't take off for the open casket.
Man.
Oh, it's grimdark.
So yeah, nice idea.
Yeah.
Guy Fawkes, you know, we said like, yeah, go on, that's so British that we
Oh
celebrate
yeah,
him,
I
and
got a
he
chub
tried
on
and
watching the
failed.
fireworks go off as Parliament blew up.
The reality is, a modern day Guy Fawkes, if he blew everyone up overnight. Apparently, my friend, when I was in Poland, they told me about that happened, and that's a conspiracy in itself. Every high-ranking member of the Polish government, it sounds like a fucking Adam Sandler movie,
yeah,
but it's not. They flew to
Practical work,
Russia
Tommy
and
read
everyone
this,
died.
yeah.
Everyone died.
Yeah.
And there was like a few days of like sort of, I don't know, chaos. Well, not like rioting in the streets or anything, just political chaos.
Well,
Like,
there's a power vacuum, isn't there?
yeah, like, literally, what the fuck do we do now? They've all gone.
Watch Designated Survivor.
Yeah, it's the same
Yeah.
idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
But in America. So yeah, let's say the modern day Guy Fawkes does that for us. So overnight, everyone's gone. All parties, everyone's gone.
Yeah.
What do we do?
The only way it works is if you've got like a unified party set up in the shadows almost. So you've got some guy who's in charge of this group. Then you've got someone's going to be responsible for something, and all that. And then you literally, and then you just, but
the army would just step in, wouldn't they?
They would, they would be the only organised force in the country, wouldn't they? So that in a power vacuum, the military immediately steps in. Then you have to rely on the military.
The police will still exist.
What happened in Egypt, wasn't it?
Well, exactly, yeah. What happened in Egypt, and I mean, all the Arab countries, Arab Springs, the military stepped in as in some cases as a temporary measure. So, we're the only people out there who are organised. We'll put soldiers in the streets, but they are there as police, while the police reorganise. Because you got the police in tatters at this point.
Say, the police would still be there, wouldn't
Yeah,
they?
they'd be very unorganised, and
they'd answer to the army though, wouldn't they?
They need a few days to get their shit back together. The army are there, so they would then replace the army on the streets, but that you're hoping that the guy who's taken over, the field marshal, whatever, isn't a complete lunatic. You're hoping it's not Field Marshal Farage, aren't you? At this point, because if it's him,
this is why we have political parties.
Yeah, but at this point, there are no political parties.
Well, are they all dead? I thought it was just a building that went.
Well, in the designated survivor scenario,
I'm saying in our fictional scenario, let's say a modern day Guy Fawkes succeeds and blows the fucking thing up, and everyone's gone. Like what happened in Poland. Then what happens? The reality of that.
That's an episode in its own actually. Because the amount of Polish guys at work and Polish men, he said to me, "Oh yeah, them Russians blew up our fucking government."
Yeah, they did.
And you're like, really? Oh yeah, we all believe that. You know, there we go. Then
plane just went down.
Yeah,
man.
just
no
went down.
box,
Just fell out the sky.
Yeah,
just fell out the sky.
Just happened to drop.
Yeah.
So should we? What do you think? Should we try and wrap up our feelings on V for Vendetta?
I
suppose we kind of have, but
yeah,
I mean, just sign it.
I mean,
wrap it up. I mean,
basically,
cut my.
Have a fucking idea. Ideas are bulletproof.
Depends what the idea is.
If you represent the good in the world, which there's evil bastards in charge. Yeah. You've got to try and be a humanist in a way.
I would say,
which is kind of the Church of Satan thing going on.
This is what Gandhi said.
I would say,
fuck that nappy wearing cunt.
Be the change that you want to be.
That was my Picasso, wasn't it?
You want to see?
Also a nappy wearing cunt.
All I will say is accept your own insignificance.
Oh, Skaz's coat. Get your sunglasses on.
How many sales are we up on the?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
moving on.
How many? Because we got that bet, remember?
Sorry,
we got that bet we had.
I've got the headphones on.
You can still hear me.
There was no timeline.
There wasn't.
On the bet, there were no.
But let's bet on. But I consider like 5 years. I've won the bet.
Oh.
Maybe a year actually. I'm being fucking generous. In all fairness.
I was gonna say I'll update you in 5 years, definitely.
Yeah, because you fucking sold one to your family. That's why.
It's just ticking over. It's fine, ticking over. So yeah, But on a serious note, I think lovely idea, fantastic comic book, great, fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Lovely idea. I think
we all want to be V. Let's face it. I'd be V. Would you be V, Mike?
Reality is, I think
well, you wouldn't be. You're a fucking hippie.
Pacifist,
hippie.
I think in the
yeah,
reality,
but you have been tortured and made into a superhuman at this point. So would you go for V then?
I think you can be a personal anarchist without stabbing and killing people and shitting in bus stops or anything weird, anything weird like that.
Nice link.
You can be a personal anarchist just by, not, don't conform completely, don't swallow the...
Steal that pen from Argos.
Yeah, don't swallow the company line when you hear the news, do you know what I mean? Don't, just be aware that the mainstream media is telling you a narrative. Don't follow fashions, do what you want to do, do what you enjoy, be a bit of a personal rebel. But don't do anything that's going to get you locked up, and don't vote in. Don't ever get to a point where a modern day Guy Fawkes like V has to take over the TV system to scold us and tell us you voted these cunts in.
Yeah.
Let's try not. If anyone gets a bit too religious-y, a bit too right wing,
let's try not do that.
Let's not vote them cunts in.
And don't accuse someone who's been opposed to racism for 30 years of racism.
Yeah.
Of racism,
Let's accept that.
Let's not do
some
that.
Serious spin. We all know what spin is. This movie, which was made in 2004, beautifully parodies how spin works in a simple, few lines of dialogue. We know what it is. Just that would be my take from it. You can be a bit of a personal anarchist, but don't try and blow anything up.
That's all. Yeah.
That would
Please do not try and blow anything up.
Yeah, don't do that.
On your own.
As much as you may feel like it.
Remember, you can always tell a bomb maker by how many fingers he's missing.
So are we? Were we going to have some weird facts or something to end the?
Fucked up facts.
Fucked up facts.
Facts.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Here we go then. Hit us with it, Mike.
According to the 2001 census, the fourth largest religion in England and Wales was Jedi.
Hey.
Well, is that a myth? I'm not sure.
According to the 2001 census, it's a
mass trolling by the British.
Yeah, it was a mass trolling. They didn't recognise it, did they?
Yeah,
I think I put Jedi once.
Pretty funny.
I've always wrote atheist.
Pretty funny, I think.
Just a stick one in the fucking church.
Yeah, go on, man.
Shanking with their kidneys. Paedophilic Satan worshippers. Not the lovable sort of Satan, the Levian Satanism, but proper demon fucking wankers. Anyway.
Okay. Switzerland has accidentally invaded Liechtenstein twice. In 1992 and 2007. In his response to the second invasion, the spokesperson for Liechtenstein remarked, "No problem, these things happen."
In all fairness, we've invaded Spain in the last 5 years, yeah. Some guys on Gibraltar were doing an op, coming ashore at night kind of thing, and landed on Spanish soil and continued the exercise. Not really, and he was like, "Oh wait!" Obviously, the minute they turned on the beach and realised there wasn't fire coming down at them, like, "Oh wait, hang on," in the wrong place. But technically, we're invading Spain. So
that's probably what happened in military exercise.
It's just you get blew a few,
Sorry about that.
Sorry, old boy.
Sorry, senor.
Oh, I say the Irish boys are over till 5 AM. Should we pop in there? Bunch of dudes in fucking wetsuits just standing around the bars, necking pints.
Oh, we really fucked this one up, didn't we, Jeffrey?
I say, let's just have a jolly old beer and pack on it.
And wait till it all blows over.
Exactly.
Fucked up fact.
One more?
Yeah.
Whales' vaginas can be large enough to walk through.
A whale's vagina. Big enough to walk through.
I know girls from Dawley like that. We all agree it's a fucking awesome movie.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the critics say.
Yeah.
The user reviews on IMDb, we're looking at 8.3.
Always go by the user reviews.
Yeah, always go by the user reviews. Great quotes.
Yeah.
Great writing by Alan Moore. I think most of the quotes did come from the most memorable quotes in the film. Came from the comic.
Good.
He's a bit of a visionary. Great visuals. The Wachowski brothers.
Good action.
Yeah, good action. Hugo Weaving, I'll give a special shout out to for doing the entire film behind the mask.
Great performance.
Great performance.
Good message.
Good message.
And knives.
And on that, I'll say then, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't join a cult unless it's Gaz's.
Yay.
And I've been Ben.
I'll say I've been Gaz. Free Biff Tannen. And bye.
I've been Mike. Let's get this goddamn visual revolution started.
Yeah, man.
Good night.
Night.